certainly is a factor of this crowd. Almost 38,000 strong here tonight. It is sold out. Whether they've all shown up or not, I can't guess at this point, but I imagine they have. There were 31,000 in attendance this afternoon for the ball games. And likewise, Wright State's making its first ever appearance in this tournament. That has to be somewhat unnerving to them, but they, of course, have nothing to lose and everything to gain here tonight.
And that probably is the biggest thing in their favor, because they can play a fairly relaxed game. So if they get beat, you know, most people are going to say, boy, you gave it a great shot, and you did a good job. You didn't quite make it. You weren't expected to. On the other hand, Indiana has tremendous pressure on it, being rated the #1 team in the country at the end of the season now with the national ranking. So, you know, they not only want to do well, they've got a reputation to consider, so they have a lot of pressure on them here tonight.
Well, of course, earlier today, Louisville and Oklahoma State advanced out of the afternoon session. Oklahoma State was a winner over Marquette 74-62, while Louisville down Delaware 76-70. Neither ball game, Max, was one of those kind of contests that got you very excited, but you can see tremendous athleticism in the Louisville ball club and really a great, big, physical, strong ball club for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, they're both really big and strong from that standpoint. I think maybe Louisville's got a little more better athletes out there than Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma State is sure big. They've got one guy at 280, 7 feet tall, comes from a town, I understand, of about 300. I think when he leaves town, the town tilts because he's holding the thing down.
And the Hoosiers, if they win tonight, already know who they'll play on Sunday. It'll be the Xavier Musketeers, who were victorious over New Orleans 73-55.
Well, Don, just a second here. Let's say congratulations to Matt and Heidi Wisen. Heidi is in the alumni office at Indiana University. They have a bouncing baby boy. Congratulations.
Well, let's look now at the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. First of all, for the Wright State Raiders under head coach Ralph Underhill. Underhill will send out of the floor at forward Bill Edwards, a 6'8", 215-pound senior out of Middletown, Ohio, who averages 25.5 points a ball game. At the other forward will be Delby Harriman, a 6'7", 190-pound freshman out of Manchester, England. He averages 6.6 points per contest. In the middle will be Mike Nahar. He is 7 foot tall, 250 pounds, a junior out of Alkmaar, Holland. He is averaging 16.4 points a ball game. The guard spots will be manned by Mark Woods at 6'1", 175 pounds, a senior out of Louisville, Kentucky, a 13.8 scoring average. And Andy Holderman, a 6'1", 160-pound junior from North Manchester, Indiana. He averages 11.6 a ball game. For Indiana, the Hoosiers tonight will start on the front line. Damon Bailey at 6'3", 200 pounds, a junior out of Heltonville, Indiana, a 10.6 scoring average. Calbert Cheney at 6'6", 204, a senior from Evansville, Indiana, a 21.9 scoring mark. Matt Nover will be in the middle at 6'8", 230, a senior from Chesterton, Indiana, a 10.9 scoring average. The guards will be Chris Reynolds at 6'1", 187, a senior out of Peoria, Illinois, a 3.6 scoring average. And Greg Graham, 6'5", 204, a senior from Indianapolis, a 16.3 scoring mark. The Hoosiers under Bob Knight in his 22nd season at IU, and of course Ralph Underhill, the 15-year coach at Wright State. We'll be set for the tip-off, but first let's pause for the 60-second network timeout.
What's clear?
New crystal clear Amoco. All other premium gasolines.
What's clear?
New improved Amoco Ultimate is the only premium refined an extra step to remove harmful impurities called PNAs.
PNAs?
Impurities that can rob your engine of performance and contribute to hydrocarbon exhaust emissions.
What's clear?
For unsurpassed performance and a cleaner environment, crystal clear Amoco Ultimate.
New in this area.
You expect more from a leader.
To booth 12 at Waffle House, when I heard that
May I help you?
voice, there stood the most pleasant, caring
Nice haircut.
person I'd ever met. Over the next hour, we shared
I recommend
many thoughts
coffee,
about life. You see, I had reached
dessert, fishing tips.
the service zone.
If we could be open more than day and night, we would. We're more than lip service. We're a Waffle House.
I moved to booth 11. Oh, miss.
At the Hoosier Dome, the officials for tonight's ball game are J.C. Leibach, Stanley Rote, and Michael Smith. So 3 officials I can't remember ever seeing before, Max. in this ball game tonight?
Names that are not familiar with me at all. Of course, the NCAA assigns the officials, and they just come from all parts of the country.
We are set to go. It'll be Calvert Cheney at 6'7", or actually about 6'6 and a half, jumping center for IU. Nahar is a 7-footer, jumping for Wright State. The tip is controlled by Calvert Cheney, batted out to Chris Reynolds in backcourt. He has it now, and immediately the Wright State Raiders go into a zone defense. Here is Reynolds to Graham, who goes right to Damon Bailey. Bailey back out to Gregg. Penetrates back off to Chris Reynolds. Again, he cross-courts to Bailey on the right wing. Inside to Nover. Turns, clears out to Graham. 3 on the way. Short off the rim. Rebound batted up and in by Calvert Cheney. Cheney is going to get the tip, I think. We'll hold on. Well, it won't matter. The 2 points are in, and with the basketball is Edwards the other side. Backcourt pass goes to Andy Holderman, an Indiana native. 6'1 junior, a sharpshooter. Passes the ball to Mark Woods. Back outside to Edwards, who lets it fly for a 3, and he got it. Edwards scores the first 3 of the ball game, and quickly Wright State is back on top. 3-2. Now, Reynolds across the timeline for Indiana. Goes to Greg Graham. Graham with the right wing, back out to Reynolds. Jumps it off to Calvert. He fires up a 3, and he got it. Calvert Cheney's got 5. Indiana back on top by 2. Across the timeline is Woods, guarded by Chris Reynolds. Drives it right, pulls up, fires, and missed the shot. Rebound inside, batted away. Scramble for Nahar had it. Kick away. A scramble effort couldn't come up with it out of bounds to Wright State. How about some bodies flying there, Mac?
A lot of them on the floor. Everybody's scrambling. Nobody could get it.
Out of bounds to Mark Woods. He'll pass it in for Wright State, wearing their green uniforms with white trim. The inbounds comes backcourt to Holderman. Holderman drives it right, spins back to the left, clears it away, comes off to Delmy Harriman. Harriman on the dribble, on the wing, stops, clears it back outside to Edwards. He drives, he shoots, and he scores. Edwards with his second straight basket. He's got 5, and we're tied up at 5 on. Now, Calvert goes to Damon. Bailey left wing back out to Reynolds. Reynolds cross-courts to Cheney. Cheney on the right side out to Graham. Gregg holds, clears back to Calvert. Calvert again slides it over to Gregg. Gregg looks at left, drives inside, spins, looks for help. Clears it out to Damon Bailey. Bailey goes to Reynolds. He redirects the traffic out there. Gives it off to Greg Graham. Zone still being used in the Nover. Matt kicks it back to Chris. Chris looks right, goes left to Gregg, now to Calvert. Baseline drive, pulls up, fire, scores. Cheney's got 7. All 7 of IU's points. Now the other way. 7-5 Indiana the leader. Mark Woods bounces left to Harriman. Gives it back to Woods on the wing. Woods lobs it into Nahar. Knocks down Cheney. No call. Jump shot no good. Rebound knocked away. Matt Nover had it cleared. Nahar comes up with it for Wright State. Here's Harriman to Edwards. Edwards fires baseline. No good this time with a rebound to Greg Graham for IU. Up the court, Graham takes it inside, kicks it off to Bailey. He fakes, brings it back off on the wing, kicks it out to Cheney. 3 on the way. No good this time. Graham rebounds. Back up he goes. Misses the shot for the foul. So Greg Graham inside draws the foul, and he'll go to the line. First personal foul of the ball game for either club. 17:09 of the clock, and Indiana is leading 7-5, and Greg Graham a chance to advance that lead further.
Both coaches have complained that the officials are not calling traveling.
Foul call was against Harriman. That's his first, and Graham hits the free throw. Greg Graham has been Indiana's hottest shooter in recent ball games, and he has just been phenomenal, averaging over 25 points a ball game in the last 7. And he drills that one. He's got his first 2, and Indiana's on top 9-5. Up the floor with the ball comes Mark Woods, their 5-point guard, 3rd in the nation in assists and steals. Woods backs it out, drives it baseline, kicks it out to Edwards. He goes inside, fires a baseline shot. No, air ball, rebound to Calvert. Down the floor to Bailey. Bailey on a break, slows it down, gives it off to Chris Reynolds. He clears to Calvert. Cheney brings it back outside to Bailey. Damon inside to Nover, turns, fakes, and he's fouled. Mike Nahar will be called for the personal. That'll be his first of the ball game, and Indiana will have Matt Nover going to the free throw line. So the Hoosiers are up 9-5 with a chance to up it further, as Matt Nover, who has regained from the free throw line his shooting touch in recent contests, will be there for 2. Nover looking for his first points of the ball game. The first shot in the air, good. Nice stroke by Mandover for his first point. He's hitting 57% of his free tosses now, and earlier in the season, he couldn't buy one. Second one is in the air, got it again. 2 for Nover, and Indiana's a 6-point leader at 11-5. Up the court comes Mark Woods, the senior for Wright State. Drives it toward the right side against Reynolds. Bounces it out to Holderman, who goes left side to Delmy Harriman. He lets it fly from 17. He misses. The rebound to Bailey. Damon brings it down the floor in a hurry. Damon to the top of the key. Right side pass deflected away from behind. Picked up by Edwards. Bounces to Woods. Woods the other way. Fires a 10-footer and got the roll. Mark Woods has got his first two. 16-15 on the clock first half. The Hoosiers are up 11-7. Here's Reynolds to Bailey. Backcourt, drives it right, bounces into Nover. Matt clears it away to Graham. He drives baseline, lets it fly from 12, missed the shot. Rebound comes away to Holderman. Holderman brings it back down the floor. Holderman picked up his dribble, gives it to Delmy Harriman. Harriman tries to cross the timeline. He does. He gives it away, and they're going to throw it away. An over and back call. Indiana will have the ball. We're going to have a timeout called with the score. Indiana 11, Wright State 7. 15:48 on the clock, and the Hoosier crowd is on their feet. We'll be back after the 60-second network timeout.
This NCAA IU basketball game is presented by University Broadcasting with 2 sports networks and 7 radio stations. University Broadcasting is rapidly becoming a leader in the broadcast industry. Our networks use state-of-the-art transmission and satellite distribution equipment for unmatched audio quality. This reflects our commitment to programming and marketing excellence, bringing Hoosiers the finest in sports entertainment. University Broadcasting, establishing a new tradition for radio excellence in Indiana.
In the Hoosier State, State Farm is there with a free service for Indiana families. Whether you're insured with State Farm or not, call a State Farm agent. Ask about a free family insurance checkup for your car, home, life, and health insurance. Find out where you stand. The advice is free, and the decisions are yours.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Indianapolis. This broadcast is authorized under broadcast rights granted by the National Collegiate Athletic Association through Host Communications Incorporated, Lexington, Kentucky. It's intended solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions or account of this broadcast without the express written consent of the NCAA and Host Communications is prohibited.
Here's the final score. Kentucky has beaten Rider College 96-52.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
WNJY, Delphi, Monticello, where Don Kennedy is your host for Big Band Jump every Sunday night at 6 o'clock here on Joy 103.
Also joining us, in addition to our normal 50-plus station network across the state of Indiana tonight, we have the Armed Forces Radio Network with us for the broadcast. Hope you're enjoying it. 400 stations strong throughout the U.S., the oceans, of course, and the eastern part of the world.
Don, another score now. New Mexico State beat Nebraska 93-79. Those are 2 finals that have games just completed.
Well, IU will have the basketball on a turnover by Wright State, the last play before the timeout. And 11-7 is our score. IU on top with Calvert, Cheney, Greg Graham, Chris Reynolds, Damon Bailey, and Matt Nover, the lineup for IU. No changes either for Wright State. They still have Woods, Holderman, along with Harriman, Foster. And here's a jumper by Calvert. Is no good. Rebound tipped up by Matt Nover. Wouldn't go. Nahar comes down with a rebound. Almost went in. Woods in backcourt against Reynolds. Starts to slide it to the right side. Drives baseline, pulls up. Clears it into Nahar, who puts it up and got it. Mike Nahar scores his first 2. A 7-footer. Here's Greg Graham the other way. He puts it up, and it's an offensive foul. Graham has nailed on an offensive foul, his first of the ball game, and the Hoosiers have picked up team foul number 1. Back the other way, Bob Knight is saying that Chris Reynolds didn't get something done at one end of the floor there. At any rate, back out he comes to guard Woods. Woods now trying to penetrate, can't, gives to Holderman in backcourt. He drives it left side against Bailey. Bounces it low baseline to Woods on the, had it knocked away but picked back up. Knight just moved the official, bounces it inside to Delmy Harriman off the Woods, inside to Foster, turnaround fadeaway shot, off the mark, no, rebound, picked off in there by Bailey, out of bounds, it'll belong to Wright State. So right now, Indiana couldn't hang on, and they'll give the ball back to Wright State's Raiders, who are down just 2-11-9. The inbound comes to Nahar. He gives it back off to Delmy Harriman. Outside pass to Holderman. Holderman guarded by Graham. Holderman drives it toward the left. Bounce pass comes off to Woods. Woods outside to Edwards. Right side pass goes to Harriman. Harriman fires up the long jump shot. No good. And the rebound comes off to Chris Reynolds. Shot clock almost went off there before they got it away. Here's Reynolds to Calvert. Three-pointer on the way. No good. Rebound pulled out of there by Wright State. Now down the floor with it is Woods. He pumps up the long shot. No. Rebound bounces away, and Reynolds retrieves it for IU. Chris comes back up the floor. Threads his way past, gives to Graham. Graham baseline, pulls up, fires, and he's drawing the foul once again. Greg Graham will go to the line. Graham looks like he is trying to drive the ball inside a lot tonight. He has picked up a charge and also 2 fouls now. Actually, he's picked up the charging foul once, so he's got 1 personal, but he's taken it inside 2 other times, and the other 2 times he's been able to draw the foul. So he'll go to the stripe for a pair right here. That foul was called on Edwards. That's his first of the ball game.
Pat Graham now has come in to replace Damon Bailey.
At the line, Greg Graham fires this free one good, and he's got his 3rd point of the evening. He'll have 1 more shot coming. Here comes Todd Leary, also going to check in. Todd is going to come into the ball game for Chris Reynolds. So Reynolds to the sideline as Leary checks into the lineup. So Bob Knight is making changes early here. You know, Max, Indiana wins this ball game. They got to come back and play the first one on Sunday. And that free one there by Graham is good, so he's got 4. So Knight wants to keep his troops from getting too tired in this ball game. 13-9 score. IU a 4-point leader in the ball game now as Woods fires right to Edwards. Edwards drives it into the lane, fires it up, no, but a whistle and a foul call will go against Pat Graham. Pat Graham will be a nail on his first foul of this contest. Edwards, you can see, has a lot of tools. He's quick, he has good size. He's popped from outside for a 3 already and taken it inside for a 2, so he can do it in all different kinds of ways. Bob Knight likened him to Glenn Robinson of Purdue.
That's a pretty good somebody to be likened to.
He's out of Middletown, Ohio. He fires this one good, and he's got his 6th point of the ball game. So he's done it every way you can do it thus far in this contest. He'll have 1 more shot coming. Can draw Wright State within 2 again if he connects. Edwards eyes it and puts it in the air short this time, and Pat Graham comes down with a rebound. Off it goes to Greg Graham. Greg across the timeline. Greg bounces it off to Todd Leary. Change of defenses now for this Wright State club. Gets it to Matt Nover. Nover back out to Greg Graham. Graham outside to Todd Leary. Leary starts it right. Comes outside to Pat Graham. Staying in the zone, but it's a different looking zone. The ball's bounced away to Greg Graham. Outside to Pat Graham. Off to Todd Leary right side. He penetrates. Jumps it back outside and stolen away. Delmy Harriman. Inside pass deflected out of bounds. It'll belong to Wright State. Not a very good move on Todd Leary's part. Max, he got up in the air and had nowhere to pass the ball.
That's 3 turnovers against Indiana. Wright State's only turned it over once.
Inbound will come from Woods. Woods gives it off to Newface Underfirth. Underfirth is in the game, a 6'7 senior, and he's a strong man for this Wright State club. Bats pass to Underfirth. He holds top of the key, gives it off to Edwards. Edwards drives it left of the circle, spins, fires, and misses. The rebound comes away to Indiana's Todd Leary. Leary quickly down the floor, slows it up, gives to Pat Graham. Pat penetrates, scoop shot up, and no good. Rebound, Graham got his own. Pat again, up and no good. Tip up is good by Calvert Cheney. Cheney's got 9, and the Hoosiers are up 5, 15-10. Now, across the timeline, Woods goes to Jeff Underfirth, and he works top of the key. Takes it left, clears it away to Holderman. Holderman, their 3-point shooter, hasn't got a shot off yet. Out to Woods. Woods in backcourt, directs some traffic now. Woods slides it out, shows the fist to his teammates, starts it to the right side on the walk, gives it outside to Delmy Harriman, who goes left to Holderman. Holderman back outside to Woods. Woods now against Graham, fires it right to Harriman. He drives baseline, puts it up, missed the shot, rebound, Calvert Cheney. Cheney goes to Leary. Leary down the floor across the timeline. Drives it inside and lost the ball. Holderman stole it away. Off to Woods. Woods the other way. Puts it up and got the shot to fall. And we got a blocking foul on Calvert Cheney. Mark Woods scores his 4th point of the ball game. And Calvert Cheney picks up his first foul. Here comes Nahar back into the ball game for Wright State, and also coming in for Indiana now is Damon Bailey replacing Todd Leary. So Leary back in, or rather out, and Bailey back in, as Mark Woods will go to the free throw line with a chance at a 3-point play here. They haven't put the field goal on the board yet. And Ralph Underhill is asking about it. That one is good. So he gets his 5th point of the contest now. And finally they do. They still haven't put it up. It's 15-13 the score, but they haven't put it on the board. It's 15-11. Now they got it as 12. It still is a point short. Here is Greg Graham at backcourt. Inside to Pat Graham, who backs it out on the dribble to Matt Over. Inside, tried to put it up, lost it, fakes, lost it again, got it back, a whistle, and we got a double dribble. So the Hoosiers are making some mistakes, and that's their 5th turnover this ball game. And now they finally put up that extra point on the scoreboard. It's 15-13, and we're going to have a timeout call. With the score, Indiana 15, Wright State 13, 11:50 on the clock first half. Back after the 60-second network timeout.
Listen carefully. Hear anything wrong? Of course not. You see, the parts in this engine are Napa brand, backed by Napa's national warranty program. So if you bought a part in Boston and it didn't work in California, you could return it to one of the 6,700 Napa stores coast to coast. But don't worry, nothing ever goes wrong when you have a warranty. Napa, because there are no unimportant parts.
The Hoosier Lottery reminds basketball fans that you have to play to win.
Dave the dribbler Nelson looks for star shooter Swish Sampson for the final shot. Where is he? Oh no, the Swishers on the sideline signing autographs. The All-Stars lose a heartbreaker, all because of a 7-foot ego trip.
Get in the game and win. Play the Hoosier Lottery.
Play the 2 newest scratch-off games from the Hoosier Lottery. Win up to $777 with Lucky Sevens, or up to $77,000 with Super Sevens.
Well, back once again at the Hoosier Dome here in Indianapolis, Indiana. 11:50 to go in the first half of this final game of the first round play here at the Hoosier Dome today. And Indiana's leading Wright State by a slim 2, 15-13.
Well, neither team is hitting very well at all. They're both hitting 33%. Wright State on 5 of 15. Indiana on 4 of 12. Indiana has hit only 1 of their last 8 shots. And that's certainly unusual for the Hoosiers, who have been shooting pretty well of late, shooting better than 52% in each of the games. But the rebounding is keeping them in there. They've out-rebounded Wright State by a 13-6 margin. Calvert Cheney has 4 rebounds right now. But one of the things, Don, that we talked about before the game, this crowd hasn't bothered Wright State in the slightest.
No, they really have not. We have Brian Evans in the ball game now for the first time for Indiana. He, along with Greg Graham, Pat Graham, Matt Over, and Damon Bailey. So Calvert Cheney's getting a rest. His first of the contest. He has 9 points and 1 foul. And we have Jeff Unberfurth, 6'7" senior in the ball game, along with Mark Woods for Wright State, Mike Nahar, Bill Edwards, and Andy Holderman. And now we're ready for action. Here comes Wright State's Mark Woods down the floor. He has 5 points in the game. And Wright State with a chance to tie or go on top as Edwards fires to Holderman on the right wing. Holderman on the dribble now to the top of the key. Slides it to the left side. Moves it to the wing. Bounces it inside to Nahar. Nahar lost the handle. Bailey batted it out of bounds. And it's going to belong to Wright State. Good defensive play and good help defense that time by Bailey. The inbound will be taken by Mark Woods as he fires it inside. And it's batted away. And it's picked up by Andy Holderman in backcourt. And they're going to call Bailey for a foul. Bailey barely touched Holderman, and he fell down and picks up the personal. So the contact generated by Bailey, what minimal amount there was, did draw the foul. Woods will inbound. Woods finally gets it to Nahar, who gives it right back to Woods in backcourt. He slides it to the right side on a tough move against Graham. Bounces it low, and it's stolen away by Bailey again. Damon clears it off to Brian Evans. Good defense by Damon. Down the floor, Bailey on the dribble. Top of the key, inside pass goes low to Pat Graham. Fakes, puts it up, and he's fouled. Graham got hit hard, went to the deck, and he'll go to the free throw line. The foul call will be whistled, I think, on Nahar. That'll be his first, make it his second. My apology, it is on Jeff Underfirth, his first of the ball game. So the reserve forward for Wright State is called for the personal as Pat Graham will go to the free throw line. Pat with no points in this one, fires it up and got it. Pat Graham now, his first point of the ball game. Hasn't shot great from the free throw line this year, but he hasn't played all that much either. 9 ball games his total, and 3 of them were in the preseason NIT. That one is also good, and Graham's got his first 2. Up the floor, Wright State trailing by 4 at 17-13 with 11 minutes to go first half. Here's Mark Woods across the timeline to Holderman. Holderman in the corner. Gets it into Edwards. He drives, fires it up. No good. Rebound, knocked away to Nahar. Nahar pitches it off the Woods baseline. Woods brings it back out of the wing. Woods drives it right, gives to Holderman. 3 on the way. High off the rim, no. Rebound, Matt Nover for Indiana. And he had it knocked away by Edwards and stole it. Edwards puts it up and missed it. And the rebound comes off to Greg Graham. Down the floor, Graham across the timeline. Graham in backcourt. Looks it inside, comes out to Bailey. Damon drives, jumps it off to Pat Graham. He brings it out to Bailey on the wing. Again to Pat in the corner. Down inside to Nover. He fakes, puts it up and in. Good move by Nover for his first field goal and his 4th point. Now it's Indiana 19, Wright State 13 as the Hoosiers open up a 6-point advantage. Woods to the right side on the dribble. Holds high. Looks in. Clears it away to Holderman. Holderman drives it left to the wing. Bounces it low to Nahar. Back to Holderman for a 3 try again. This time it rims out and the rebound comes off to Brian Evans. Evans clears to Bailey. Damon across the timeline. Bailey stops his move. Flies it outside to Greg Graham. Graham holds against the zone. Gives it back to Damon for a 3 try. High off the rim, no. And the rebound to Underfirth for Wright State. Back down the floor comes Mark Woods. Woods slides it toward the right, inside the post to Edwards. Edwards turnaround baseliner is no good, and the rebound comes off to Bailey again. Damon clears the board, gives it up court to Greg Graham. Graham drives to the left side, holds it on the wing, brings it back out on the dribble, bounces to Damon Bailey. Bailey in the lane to Nover, puts it up inside of reverse, he got it. Nover's got 6. Indiana, 21-13 leader over Wright State. Now it's an 8-point advantage. Here is Woods, backcourt dribble. Starts it to the right. Gives it off to Underfirth. Underfirth back out to Holderman. The Hoosier fans are on their feet. Bounce pass right side goes to Woods. Woods now inside to Underfirth. Fakes, bounces to Nahar. Stripped away by Bailey again. What a defensive play. Bailey to Greg Graham, right wing. He lets it fly. High off the rim, no good. Pat Graham tries to save it. It goes out of bounds. It'll belong to Wright State. I'll tell you what, Max, the only thing Indiana's not doing well is shooting it from outside.
They're 1 for 6 from 3-point range, and that is way below what they've been doing recently. They really struggle right there, and for the game now, they're 6 of 16.
You know what? They've never shot well in this building.
I know. It's a tough building. There's nothing behind those bankboards.
A new face in the game for Wright State is Chris McGuire, a guard. Here's Underfirth to Nahar. He puts it up and missed it, and the rebound of Brian Evans. He clears it out to Greg Graham. Indiana starting to at least control the boards. Greg in backcourt on the move. Slides it right side. Still in the dribble. Backcourt pass to Pat Graham. Inside to Nover. Matt turns, fakes, fires a 10-footer. Got it! Nover with his 8th point of the ball game. Indiana leads at 23-13 as they now have their biggest lead at 10. McGuire, top of the key. Left side pass comes to Underfirth. He looks inside, holds. Backcourt goes to Nahar. Now right side to McGuire. Back out to Holderman. He fakes the 3. Pitches to McGuire. McGuire inside to Nahar, who turns. Can't get the shot away to Holderman. Holderman back out to McGuire. McGuire now moves it left against Graham. Slides it down low. Gets it inside. Nice feed to Delmy Harriman for an easy bucket. That's Harriman's first 2 of the ball game. That's 23-15. Pat Graham, backcourt to Greg Graham, left side to Damon Bailey. Bailey drives baseline, pulls it back out of there to Greg Graham. Graham moves it to Pat. Now to Brian Evans. Down low to Matt Nover. Inside, puts it up and got it. Matt Nover suddenly has caught fire big time. He's got 10 and the Hoosiers lead by 10. Now at backcourt is McGuire, starting to move it to the right side against Greg Graham. McGuire fakes, drives it back out, looks for help, clears it away to Underfurth. He holds high, gives it out to Harriman. He goes baseline, lost the handle, picked up by Greg Graham. Graham slides it back across the time stripe. Greg, top of the key, on the dribble. Moves it toward the left side against Harriman. Right now, man defense being used by Wright State in the corner to Brian Evans. Brian brings it back out to the wing, lobs it away to Graham. Greg holds inside and over, now to Pat Graham. He fakes the three. He brings it inside on the drive. Pitches to Brian Evans for a three-try. Got it! Brian Evans. His first field goal is a three-point bomb, and the Hoosiers lead at 28-15. 6:32 to go in the half. IU is on a roll. Here's Nahar. Backcourt hold. Goes right side to Underfurth. Underfurth to Holderman. He lets the three fly, and he misses again. Brian Evans with a rebound. Evans looks to help. Gives it out to Pat Graham. Up court to Bailey. Damon across the timeline. Drives baseline. Scoops it up. A whistle and a foul. Foul call will go on Holderman. That'll be his first of the ball game. And we're going to have another timeout, I believe. Time is called with a score. Indiana 28, Wright State 15, 6:12 to go in the half. Back after the 60-second network timeout.
This is Willard Scott for True Value. We'd like to recognize the Indiana University basketball team, better known as the Hoosiers, for their hard work all season. When a basketball team needs a spark to get them going, they rely on their best scorer. But when a fireplace or barbecue needs a spark, rely on the March Bargain of the Month. An Aim & Flame butane lighter from Scripto. It's disposable and offers thousands of lights. And it's just $2.36 while quantities last at your local True Value hardware store or home center.
Say, neighbors, that one of those new Snapper lawn tractors I see in your garage?
You betcha. This baby is built tough, and talk about power. A Briggs IC with 12 horses, Peerless 5-speed gear drive, 30-inch cutting deck with 6 cutting heights, 32-inch turning radius, 2-year limited warranty.
Boy, you must have run into some cash to buy this Snapper tractor a couple of months before the grass needs to be cut.
Oh, not at all. I just use Snap credit, so I don't have to start paying for it until October. Besides, with Snapper tractor starting at $14.99, these babies aren't going to last very long down at the Snapper dealer.
You know, neighbor, I think I'll go visit that Snapper dealer before the spring rush starts.
Well, back at the Hoosier Dome, where Indiana has jumped out to a 13-point, 28-15 lead over Wright State. We have 6 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in this first half of play. You know, the National Collegiate Athletic Association is the organization through which the nation's colleges and universities speak and act on athletics matters at the national level. It is a voluntary association of more than 1,000 members devoted to the sound administration of intercollegiate athletics. A message from the NCAA.
Well, Don, Indiana has taken this 13-point lead with Calbert Cheney on the bench right now getting a rest. Greg Graham 0 for 3 from the field, so they're doing it with other players tonight. They're now shooting 47% on 9 of 15, while Wright State has dropped down to 6 of 23, 26%. Indiana on a 13-2 run like now. They have hit 5 of their last 7. They're out rebounding Wright State by a 20-8 margin. Wright State is basically getting one shot, and that's it.
Well, the Hoosiers are not shooting it well from outside, but they're doing everything else solidly, and that's the big difference in this ball game right now. And the Raider Ball Club of Wright State, Max, has got to be felt like they've been hit with a buzzsaw.
Well, after a while, the kind of ball that Indiana plays begins to wear down. All those picks and screens in there, you start to feel it.
Indiana will have the basketball out of bounds underneath their own hoop. Pat Graham will trigger the inbounds pass. The Hoosiers have Pat Graham, Matt Nover, Brian Evans, Greg Graham in the lineup with Bailey right now. The pass comes in to Brian Evans, out to Greg Graham. Greg gets it outside to Damon. Damon looks at right, stops, gives it to Matt Nover in the high post, back out to Damon. He looks at right, drives in the lane, gives it out to Pat Graham. 3 on the way. Got it! Pat Graham's first field goal, his 5th point, and a big 3 it was. 31-15 IU. Across the timeline, McGuire to Nahar. Nahar backcourt on the dribble. One time gives it off to Edwards. Bill Edwards, who's really struggled since his opening couple of baskets. Here's a bounce pass from Woods to Harriman, not Edwards' right wing against Brian Evans. The pass inside is deflected by Evans, but picked up by Edwards. Now, back off it comes to Nahar. Out to Edwards, back to Nahar. Turnaround jumper, in and out, and went in. Good jumper by Mike Nahar for his 4th point. Got a baseliner to fall. It's now 31-17. Here's the pass into Nover. Matt fires it from 8 feet. No good this time. Rebound, batted away. Scramble for Brian Evans, tears it loose. Evans back outside to Damon. Bailey drives inside, kicks it to Greg Graham. 3 on the way. Bingo! Greg Graham scores his 7th point of the contest, and Indiana leads it 34-17. Now, McGuire across the timeline. Passes it into Harriman, who gets it back to McGuire on the right wing to Edwards. Edwards holds, looks in for Nahar. Passes it to him, threw it away. Pat Graham intercepted it. Pat down the floor. Slows in backcourt, bouncing to Damon Bailey. Right side pass almost stolen. Bailey got it back, scoops it up and missed it. Rebound to Nahar for Wright State. And now a whistle blows, and we get a foul call against IU. Well, hold on, let's see. I think it's against the Hoosiers. Yep, they called it on Damon Bailey. That'll be his 2nd foul of the ball game. Only the 5th team foul, however, Max. 4:31 to go. Nowhere near the 1-and-1 situation.
Neither team, or both teams, I should say, have 5 fouls.
So up the court now comes McGuire for Wright State. McGuire takes it toward the left side. Now jumps it off to Mark Woods. Woods down the lane, fakes, pulls up, looks inside, bounces it out of trouble. It goes to Edwards, now to Woods again. Woods fires it left to Harriman. Harriman, a 3 on the way. He misses the rebound, goes to Greg Graham. Here comes Graham down the floor for IU. Greg, backcourt. Looks right. Stops. Turns, gives to Damon Bailey. Into Mandover. Baseline move, cut off. Turns, looks for help, puts it up anyway. Got it! Mandover's got 12. Indiana, 36. Wright State, 17. Nover is playing a whale of a ball game. Here is McGuire to Nahar. Mike Nahar, their 7-footer, playing the guard spot out there, gives to Edwards. He fires it up and got it. Edwards finally getting another basket after 2 early ones. Now he has a total of 8 points. 36-19 score. Bailey had it knocked away and stolen. Wright State's got an easy breakaway. Here's Mark Woods for the layup. Woods has got his 7th point. Now it's 36-21. The lead cut down to 15. Across the timeline comes Greg Graham. Graham slides it right. They've got a trap going on now as Graham moves it to the right. Bounces a load to Nover. Nover outside to Brian Evans. Down to the corner to Pat Graham. Back into Damon. He fires a 7-footer. Off the rim, no. Rebound to Har for Wright State. Now McGuire the other way for the Raiders. McGuire gives it out to Woods. He pumps a 3 of his, and he got it. Mark Woods has got 10 all of a sudden. A big 3-pointer there, and the lead shrinks down to 12, 36-24. And Indiana was in a situation where they looked like they're going to take it to 20, and all of a sudden it's a 12-point game. Here's Bailey. Bounces to Pat Graham. Pat fires a 3. He hits! Pat Graham has got his 8th point of the contest. That was a big bucket there. 39-24. The lead back up to 15. Backcourt, Mark Woods for Wright State. Woods slides it right. On the move to the wing. He lets another 3 fly. This time it's way off the mark. Edwards rebounds, however. He takes it up inside. Missed the shot, and the rebound to Damon Bailey. Bailey up the floor. Across the timeline, slows. Damon in backcourt to Pat Graham. Down to the corner to Greg Graham. He fires a long one. It's no good. Rebound batted away. Brian Evans tried to tip it. Does to Greg Graham. Outside pass to Bailey. Bailey turns a 17-footer. Good. Damon Bailey's first field goal. 41-24 Indiana. 1:50 to go. First half of play, and the Hoosiers again on a roll. Now McGuire across the timeline. He starts it toward the left side. Takes it down on the wing. McGuire stops, gives it outside to Woods. Woods on the dribble against Bailey. Fakes, drives it in the lane, fires it underneath. Nice speed to Harriman. Harriman back outside to Nahar. He drives, he shoots, he got it, and a foul. It's going to count, and Damon Bailey just picked up his 3rd personal foul. Knight did not like that call at all, but it's going to count, and the foul goes on Bailey. That'll be his 3rd. So Damon has picked up 3 personals, and he'll go to the sidelines, and Knight's still looking at the officials incredulously as Mike Nahar will go to the line with 6 points and a chance at a 3-point play here. You know, for a 7-footer, this guy's got a touch at the line, 83%.
Todd Leary comes back in. Todd had a little problem when he was in there early. Let's see if he can do better this time.
Nahar drills the free one, and we got a timeout. Score is Indiana 41, Wright State 27, a minute and a half to go in this first half. Back after the 62nd timeout. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury, the affordability store, has the #1 best-selling car in America. Plus, they have the #1 best-selling truck in America. And Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury has great selection, a pleasant atmosphere, affordable quality service, and guaranteed no high pressure. Their goal at Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury is your total satisfaction. Nobody makes it more affordable than the Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury store, located at the east end of the Logansport Mall.
Beaver Dam Inn in Monticello is the place for exquisite prime rib and scrumptious seafood. Visit Beaver's now for their nightly dinner specials, exceptional service, and delicious homemade soups. While you're there, ask about their catering and private party services. Located just south of the Norway Dam, everyone's eager to eat at Beaver's. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Call 583-8375. The Beaver Dam Inn.
Before we go any further, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
WNJY, Delphi, Monticello, where you can listen to Solid Gold Saturday Night with Bob Worthington every Saturday night at 7 o'clock here on Joy 103.
Well, the Hoosiers max hold of 41.
If you want to know, you got to go.
Go in this first half.
Well, a minute and a half ago, they held a 19-point lead at 36-17. That's after they had hit 3 straight 3-point plays and a 2-point play. But the Wright State Raiders have come right back. Indiana 3-point shooting now. After going 1 of 6, has hit 4 in a row. They're 5 of 10, while Wright State is 2 of 8 from the field. Damon Bailey, while he hasn't scored all that much, has really played himself a game in there. He's got 4 assists. He's had 2 steals, and he's had 3 rebounds. He has been really a spark in there. Indiana out-rebounding Wright State 24-11.
Calvert Cheney has been on the bench a long, long time, and he's got 9 points. He was the scoring star early, but Bob Knight took him out. I don't know for what reason. I don't think he's in trouble or anything. He just went out to the sidelines, and Knight likes the combination that's been in there.
And I think he wants to save him if he can.
Hey, you got to keep him fresh if you possibly can. Here is Leary in backcourt, gives to Greg Graham. Graham fakes, drives it left, spins back to Leary with a pass. Leary in backcourt again, stops, gets it off to Brian Evans. Evans now in some trouble. A double team, lost the handle. Ball picked up by who? Pat Graham saves it to Greg Graham. Inside for a 15-footer. Scores! Greg Graham with his 9th point. Indiana 43, Wright State 27. That frenzied attack that time looked like Indiana was going to lose it. Wright State. McGuire with the basketball. Gives it out to Nahar. The 7-footer way away from the basket, and backcourt clears to Bill Edwards. He passes, and it's passed stolen away by Pat Graham on a breakaway. Pat turns in, scoops and scores. Pat Graham has got 10. Indiana is getting great scoring out of Graham again tonight. 45-27, the lead's back up to 18. In backcourt with 33 seconds to go in the half, McGuire spins to the right side, gives it off to Edwards. Edwards on the wing. He holds, looks it in for Nahar, then fires a 3 up and missed it way off the mark. Harriman rebounds, however, inside for an easy basket. He's got 4. 19 seconds left in the halftime, or till the halftime, with 45-29 on the board. Here's Pat Graham inside to Greg Graham to Brian Evans for a 3. No good. Rebound knocked away out of bounds by Wright State, and Indiana will have it. Nover tried to pull it in. Somebody from Wright State banged his arm and knocked it out of bounds, and Ralph Underhill didn't like it, but there was no question that it wasn't going to be Indiana's ball. It's going to be a foul.
He banged Nover himself. I'm surprised there wasn't a foul called.
Pat Graham will inbound. We're down to 7.5 into Todd Leary. Leary outside, and he's fouled. Todd Leary gets fouled out there by Keith McGuire, and Todd is shaken up. Todd Leary is shaken up. He is writhing on the sidelines over there as Greg Graham comes over to take a look. I don't know what happened to him, but he is in some pain. We're down to 5.6 seconds to go in this half. This would not be a shooting situation, Max, because it would be the 16th foul.
Right, Indiana would get the ball out of bounds one more time. I think he's going to come around here in a minute, but he needs to catch his breath here a bit, I think.
May just got the wind knocked out of him.
Took a good blow.
He is over there. Greg Graham is right there with him, Max, along with Tim Garrow, the trainer for the Hoosiers. And don't rule out the fact that we may see Yep, I think he just had the wind knocked out of him. So Leary, who has had his bumps and bruises this year, Max, and has been playing with a bad knee throughout most of the season, is all right, but he's going to go to the sideline, and Calvert Chaney will return here with 5.6 seconds to go.
No shooting foul. That is the sixth one, so both teams now with 6. Not likely to go into the 1-1 before this half ends.
The foul call was on Bill Edwards, his second. Indiana will have it on the far sideline in front of the Wright State bench. Pat Gramble inbound. Pat Gramble inbound, fakes the pass to Greg Graham, then fire looking for help, and they call 5 seconds. So 5-second call, the turnover, the 8th against Indiana, and the ball belongs to Wright State out of bounds. So Wright State with 5.6 seconds to go. Bob Knight wants some pressure now down court. They bring in Holderman, a three-point shooter. Indiana leads by 16. Wright State will try to get one off here.
They really turned up the defensive pressure the last 2 times.
Here's McGuire, brings it down, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, gives it out to Holderman for a 3. He lets it fly way off the mark, and that's the end of the first half of play. Good defensive effort by Indiana. And the score at halftime here in the Hoosier Dome. It's Indiana 45, Wright State 29. We'll be back with our halftime show after we pause for the 60-second network timeout.
Now, Madam Yolanda will read your palm. Oh, you're a farmer. You grow beans.
Soybeans.
I feel a powerful presence. 2 strong forces working together to solve all your problems.
Could it be tricept herbicide?
Are your problems broadleaf weeds and grasses?
Yes.
Like pigweeds, foxtails, cocklebur?
Yeah.
Ah, then the answer is Tricept, made with Scepter herbicide and Treflan herbicide for the most power you can pack in a jug.
All that's in my palm?
No, in your Tricept brochure. Oh, one more thing. See your Cyanamid Agri Center dealer. Read and follow label directions.
This NCAA basketball game is presented by University Broadcasting with 2 sports networks and 7 radio stations. University Broadcasting is rapidly becoming a leader in the broadcast industry. Our networks use state-of-the-art transmission and satellite distribution equipment for unmatched audio quality. This reflects our commitment to programming and marketing excellence, bringing Hoosiers the finest in sports entertainment. University Broadcasting, establishing a new tradition for radio excellence in Indiana.
Well, back at halftime, we're at the Hoosier Dome in Indianapolis, where the Hoosiers of IU are winning over Wright State at the break by 16. 45-29 is their score. Let's look at the individual scoring in this first half of play. For the Wright State Raiders, Mark Woods has popped 4 field goals, one of them a 3-pointer, along with a free throw for a 10-point first half. Andy Holderman, their outside shooter, has been held scoreless in the first half, and he has 1 personal foul. Mike Nahar has 3 field goals, a free throw, 7 first-half points, and a personal. Bill Edwards has popped for 3 field goals, one of those a three-pointer, and a free throw. He has 8 first-half points, 2 personal fouls. Delmy Harriman has a pair of field goals for 4 points and 1 foul. Jeff Unverfurth has no points and a personal, and Chris McGuire played but did not score or foul. So our first half scoring for Wright State led by Mark Woods, who has 10 points and 8 for Bill Edwards. For Indiana, the first half, Chris Reynolds did not score or foul. Damon Bailey has 1 field goal, 2 points, and 3 personals, but Bailey's contributions were in other areas. Matt Nover was a big gun in the first half. He pumped in 5 field goals, a pair of free throws, 12 first-half points, and did not commit a foul. Calvert Chaney has 4 field goals, one of them a three-pointer, 9 first-half points for Calvert and 1 foul, and he didn't play much of the first half. Greg Graham has popped for 2 field goals, one of those a three-pointer, 4 free throws. He has 9 first-half points to go along with 1 personal foul. Brian Evans popped for 1 3-point field goal, 3 points and no fouls at the break. Pat Graham with a solid first half, 2 3-point field goals, 1 regular field goal, and 2 free throws. 10 points for Pat Graham at the break. He has 1 foul. Todd Leary played, did not score or foul. So Indiana right now has 2 players in double figures, Matt Nover with 12 and Pat Graham with 10. Max, look at those team stats.
Well, Indiana held Wright State to 35% shooting in that first half on 12 of 34. Wright State is a ball club that also shoots 52%, just as Indiana does coming into this game. Indiana, on the other hand, was just a tick under that 52%, hitting on 16 of 31, 51.6. From 3-point range, Indiana again shooting well after a very slow start when they were 1 of 6. They finished 5 of 11, 45%. Wright State, 2 of 11 from three-point range. That is just 18% in that first half of play. Wright State is a 38% three-point shooting team. Free throw line, Indiana was perfect. 8 of 8. Wright State 3 of 4. Indiana very much controlling the boards, 26-12, with Greg Graham with 5 leading Indiana. Brian Edwards and Calvert Cheney each have 4. Nahar has 5 for Wright State. Turnovers, Indiana turned it over 8 times, and that was probably the biggest problem they were having, as Wright State turned it over a total of 6. Damon had 4 assists in that first half, 2 steals and 3 rebounds. Pat Graham had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal to go with his 10 points. Indiana's biggest lead, a 19-pointer at 36-17. Cheney 4 of 7 in the first half. Matt Nover 5 of 7. Greg Graham 2 of 6. Damon Bailey 1 of 4. Pat Graham 3 of 5. And Brian Evans 1 of 2. Bill Edwards hit the first 2 shots he took for Wright State, but he finished 3 of 10 as he missed the next 6 shots after hitting the first 2. Harriman was 2 of 6, Nahar 3 of 5, Woods was 4 of 5, and Andy Holderman took 4 shots, all of them from three-point range. He missed all 3 shots. So Indiana here at halftime with a 16-point, 45-29 lead.
All right, we'll be back with our halftime guest, the supervisor of officials of the Big Ten Conference, Rich Falk, right after we pause for the 60-second break. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
Chevy's, Logansport's most popular nightclub, invites you to rock and roll to the greatest hits of the 50s and 60s every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Yes, Chevy's friendly atmosphere, unbelievable lighting, and outstanding sound makes for a good time for everyone. Now it's Chevy's on Sunday night. It's country western night. So pull on the boots, get out the hat, and plan to dance the two-step at Chevy's. Whether you're looking for a little bit of country or a little bit of rock and roll, Chevy's has it. Located inside Myers Sport Bowl East, 1/2 mile east of the Logansport Mall.
A law firm that believes integrity comes first. O'Brien and Morrissey wants you to know about their law practice located at 1015 Bank One Building in Lafayette. You can talk to Thomas O'Brien or Michael Morrissey with your first consultation free. They can assist you in divorce, personal injury, real estate, wills, estates, drunk driving, and criminal cases. Meeting the legal needs of the people in our area, O'Brien and Morrissey. Call 317-742-9027.
We are at the Hoosier Dome tonight. We're in the final game of this first round of the NCAA Tournament. Indiana leading the Wright State Raiders by a score of 45-29. We give you one score that has just completed. Michigan has defeated Coastal Carolina by, I think it was 83-54. It flashed up on the board. That is correct. No, it's 84-53. 84-53, Michigan beats Coastal Carolina. Rich Falk, who is out of the Big Ten office, here representing the Big Ten in the action here tonight, as an observer at any rate. Rich, your thoughts on this basketball game?
Oh, yeah. It's good to be with you here, of course, with Indiana and our Big Ten champion playing so well here in the first half. Of course, to see 4 out of our 5 teams in the NCAA Tournament get off to a winning start. That's been very nice for the conference.
It helps a little bit after the NIT start. That was not so good, was it?
Yeah, it really wasn't, and it goes to show you, I think, just how much parity there is in the country. And we went into a couple of weeks ago with we're looking at 9 teams with a legitimate chance at the NCAA tournament. We did end up with 9 teams in postseason play, but got a little surprised in that first round of the NIT. Minnesota, of course, still carrying the banner, and I think they've got a chance to go a long way.
Of course, Indiana, or I should say the Big Ten, over the years has tended to beat each other up and has perhaps pulled down the season records. But apparently some of that kind of happened in some of the other conferences this year. A lot of teams lost some games that because I think, as you mentioned, the parity was out there and it made it tough to have a real great team.
I think that's exactly right. And we see that in this tournament with the scores that are coming in, the upsets between high seeds versus low seeds. And we saw it this year, of course, in the conference, as you know, following it as closely as you do. We had more road victories than we've ever had, and that speaks to parity. And we had a lot of teams at home, of course, suffer unfortunate losses early on, which really hurt their expectations. I think if you look at Michigan State, for example, Ohio State, Purdue, those are 3 teams that had they done fared a little bit better at home, had a much better chance and probably would be in the NCAA field. And of course, Minnesota, just a couple more wins on the road, they could have seen themselves in the NCAA tournament. We beat up at each other, and other conferences are gaining in stature. As you know, with the realignment of leagues, I think we're going to see more and more competitiveness as we go into the 1990s.
Rich will come back and talk a bit more. We're at halftime. Indiana is leading Wright State 45-29. Let's pause 60 seconds. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
Professional interiors. What does that mean? Well, according to Funk and Wagnall, professional means skilled in a profession, art, or craft. Interior means pertaining to the inside. Now, what it doesn't mean is expensive. At Professional Interiors, you'll find the best prices on the best brands of carpet anywhere. So don't be surprised if you find that high-quality carpet that you saw elsewhere and thought you couldn't afford, priced so low that you'll wonder how the other guy sells any of it. Professional Interiors, 570 South Main Street in Monticello. The best carpet and better prices.
McGreevy's Pizza King, a place where your lunch hour is your time. Come in, sit down and relax. Choose from a large selection of super sandwiches, delicious salads, and sensational soups. Let them bring the food to you. McGreevy's Pizza King wants you to enjoy your lunch hour. For your next lunch break, enjoy McGreevy's Pizza King on the square in Delphi. McGreevy's Pizza King, more than just great pizza.
Again, Indiana leading the Wright State Raiders 45-29. Rich Falk of the Big Ten office, who is supervisor for the Big Ten officials and is here tonight also for the NCAA evaluating the officials. And Rich, we've got 3 officials here tonight that I've never seen. The NCAA assigns people from all over the country, I gather.
Well, they do, and of course we're very, very happy, just like we have so many teams representing us year in and year out. Our Big Ten officials stand up extremely tall also from the standpoint that 32-man staff, we had 23 selected again this year, and on a percentage basis, that's really phenomenal, and 15 were pre-assigned to 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament, so it gives you a little idea of the respect the NCAA has for their ability as referees on these respective games. But the fans out there might be interested to note that what we do in each of our respective conferences, we recommend 2 lists of officials. Those officials who, in our respective conferences, that work 10 or more games, and then another list of people who work less than 10 games. And that was all sent into the NCAA with about a week and a half, 10 days, I guess, to go into season. And we rank those officials, and we have to rate them, of course, but we rank them in order. And each conference out there, Division I conference, is guaranteed to have at least 1 out of the 96 chosen for the big dance, so to speak. And each conference must recommend at least 5. Of course, we recommend quite a few, as you can see, as I already said, with 23 out of our 32-man staff being chosen. That's pretty remarkable. We're very proud of that. And I think the NCAA does a real good job. We're here assigned as supervisors of the various sites, and we help in the evaluation as they go through. And of course, then a member of the tournament committee also serves here with us, and they have the ultimate job, along with the rest of the committee, to choose those officials that are going to advance all the way to the Final Four.
One question, Rich. Do you see much difference in the way officials call it? The Big Ten has always been, say, you let them play, and they've let them play rough. Do you really see much difference from conference to conference?
Well, I think we still see some, but I think you have to give a lot of credit to the NCAA. Hank Nichols, the national supervisor official, we worked hard over the last 5 years in a national program to try with our clinics and with our preparation for each year and with the constant communication, 4 and 5 conference calls with all the supervisors during the year. And that kind of communication, I think, has helped us bring us all more and more together in terms of uniformity. No longer do we want to be called the most physical league in the Big Ten. That perception's still there to an extent, but I think you can see here in the NCAA at the various sites that most of the officials across the country are, in fact, coming closer in terms of a consistency and uniformity in how we're relating to the game.
Rich, we got about 30 seconds here, but you were talking about rating officials. Now, at the end of the season, you rate officials. Are the officials you rate at the bottom, are they dropped off the list for the next year?
Well, I think you see some turnover anywhere from 2 to 3 almost every year, but we've had years where as many as 8 have gone off. We've had as many as 13 come on when we added Penn State. So I'd like to see our staff between 30, 35 of the nation's best officials. And officials we had, of course, are some of the nation's best. We're very fortunate in that regard because they like to work this league also. But only people who don't measure up to our standards after a couple of years are really looking at them well. Our coaches are great in the input process. They're very fair. As a matter of fact, some of our most objective when it comes to deciding, or helping us rate these officials for staying with us and being retained.
Rich, I appreciate your stopping by. Appreciate it. We hope that the Big Ten does keep its teams alive and we see them play some more games.
Thank you.
All right. Rich Falk visiting with us here at halftime from the Big Ten office, looking at the officials here tonight, along with the other games, of course, that have been played later on today. Both teams have returned to the playing court. Indiana up by 16 at the moment, 45-29. Indiana, as we mentioned, shooting 51% in that first half on 16 of 31. Wright State finishing 35% on 12 of 34. Wright State was just 2 of 11 from three-point range. Indiana ended up 5 of 11. Indiana 8 of 8 from the foul line. Wright State 3 of 4 from the foul line. And as we mentioned, the rebounding very decidedly in Indiana's favor by a 26-12 margin. And it was very well balanced. Greg Graham with 5 led the Hoosiers, but Calvert, Cheney, and Evans each had 4 apiece. So that's the way things look here at halftime. And Don, the second half is about ready to get underway.
All right, we'll be back with our second half start right after we pause for the 60-second network timeout.
Hi, George. Can I borrow a cup of hot water?
Out of hot water again?
Again.
You sure you wouldn't like to borrow more than a cup?
No, thanks. I just need to shave.
Natural gas means more hot water, faster. It's the ideal energy.
Do you remember those cold nights when you used to haul in firewood and make strange growling noises when you tried to light the fire? Do you miss it?
I kind of miss the growling noises. Natural gas fireplaces are warm, clean, and efficient. Natural gas is the ideal energy.
When my shower ran out of hot water, I had this little trick to keep me warm. I used to sing. Well, I mean, it's safer than dancing, isn't it? Okay, prettier too.
Natural gas technology means more hot water for less. It's the ideal energy for your family. For new information on today's natural gas technology and the ideal energy, call Indiana Gas at 1-800-777-4414.
Well, both education and recreation are essential for a healthy life. Children can learn the physical and mental skills they will need for success in sports and in school from college coaches and student athletes. Youth education through sports or YES clinics are offered free of charge at NCAA championships. For more information, contact the NCAA National Office. A message from the NCAA. Well, out on the floor for IU, Calvert Cheney, Greg Graham, Brian Evans, Damon Bailey, and Matt Nover. Mike Nahar for Wright State, along with Delmy Harriman, Andy Holderman, Bill Edwards, and Mark Woods. We are ready for action to start the second half. The Hoosiers by 16, Wright State with a basketball. Across the timeline, Woods, guarded by Graham, drives it inside, gets it away to Edwards, who puts it up and in. Nice feed inside, and Edwards has got his 10th point. Indiana ball. Greg Graham will bring it across the timeline. Graham, backcourt against that zone, into Nover. He turns, clears it away to Damon Bailey. Bailey out to Graham. Graham right to Brian Evans. Evans on the dribble on the wing, gives it back to Graham, back off to Bailey. Bailey fakes, looks at low, comes back to Greg Graham with a pass. Harriman on the high post, or defensively, gives it, here's Bailey back out to the left side, brings it out to Greg Graham, down low to Calvert. He drives in the lane, fires it up, and missed the shot. Rebound tip, and pulled out of there by Edwards of Wright State. Back the other way. Here is Harriman on the right side. He pulls it back out of the wing, gives it off to Mark Woods. Woods on the baseline, kicks to Edwards. Edwards in the lane, fires up an 8-foot runner. No go, but a foul. Foul call goes against IU. And this one is whistled against Brian Evans. That'll be Evans' first of the ball game. So it's going to send Bill Edwards to the free throw line. Edwards got into a real rut there, Max, after he scored his first 6 points of the ball game. He was throwing up some wild shots and couldn't get anything to fall until late in the first half with one more field goal.
Looks as if they want him to drive to the basket.
Well, he pops his 11th point there. He'll have an opportunity for one more, and he scored all of the second half points thus far for Wright State. Less than a minute has gone by with 19:03 on the clock. It's 45-32. Second shot is up and in. He's got 4 in the second half and 12 for the ball game now. Up court pass against full court pressure. Bailey breaks it, drives it inside, gives it off to man Nover, lost the handle. Stolen away by Holderman for Wright State. Holderman in backcourt to Mark Woods. Suddenly it's a 12-point game and could go lower. Here's a jumper by Nahar. It's good. Nahar's got 9, and we are in a 10-point contest. 45-35. 6 quick points for Wright State, and they're back in the hunt. Here's Greg Graham to Damon Bailey to Calvert. Calvert's 17-footer is good. Calvert Cheney scores his 11th point of the contest, and it's now 47-35. Across the timeline, backcourt dribble Mark Woods. Woods against Graham, moves it to the right, gives to Holderman. He fakes the three, drives it to the left side of the wing, bounces low to Nahar. Nahar turns on Nover, jump hook is no good. Rebound inside, a foul call on Delmy Harriman. Harriman picks up his second foul of the ball game. Indiana will get the ball back with a 12-point lead and 18-11 on the clock in this contest. Indiana looking to advance to round 2 on Sunday, and they'll play the first game against Xavier if they win tonight. Backcourt, Greg Graham bounces low to Calvert, lost the handle, got it back, puts it up, and scores with a foul. Beautiful job by Calvert Cheney, his 13th point, a chance at a three-point play, and he drew the foul on Bill Edwards. That'll be his third. So Edwards has picked up 3 personals now. And he'll go to the sideline as Jeff Unverferth comes into the ball game to replace him. 18 minutes to go in this contest as Calvert Cheney steps to the line, fires the shot, and got it to fall. He's got 14 now. The Hoosiers lead it 50-35. The lead's built back to 15. Across the timeline comes Woods for Wright State. Woods gets it out to Holderman. Holderman drives it left. Stops in the wing, bounces low to Woods on the baseline. Woods now slides it inside. It's batted away to Harriman in backcourt. Harriman drives, gives off to Holderman, now off to Woods. Woods, right side of the circle. Can't penetrate, dribbles it to the right wing, picks it up and threw it away. Brian Evans with a great defensive play. He jumps it away to Greg Graham. Graham up across the timeline. Graham in backcourt, left side to Evans. Evans down low, inside to Nover, turns on Nahar, puts it up and missed it. The rebound, Damon Bailey. Bailey into Calvert Cheney for a slam dunk. Calvert's 16th point. 52-35. The lead's at 17 again. Here is Woods, the other way baseline. Inside, fade away, no good. Rebound, Unverferth. He turns, lost the handle, pulled out of there by Matt Nover. Nover to Cheney, down the floor to Greg Graham. Graham takes it down low, back out to Bailey. 3 on the way, no good. Rebound Nover, and he's fouled. It'll be on Mike Nahar. That'll be his second personal, the 7-footer. For Wright State gets number 2. Edwards now with 3 will come back into the lineup for Wright State. And Indiana will have the ball out of bounds as Unverferth checks to the sideline. Nahar called for a second. Inbound comes to Calvert. Calvert tries it into Nover, and he got fouled. Some battling going down low, and Nover gets hammered. And let's see on who. They whistle this one on Harriman. That'll be his third. So Delmy Harriman has got 3. Here's the lob into Calvert. Calvert down low, puts it up and scores. Calvert Cheney's got 18. Indiana 54, Wright State 35, and the Hoosiers are on the verge now of taking over this contest completely. 19-point lead. Here's Harriman backcourt to Woods to Edwards on the right wing. Bill Edwards holds. He brings it backcourt on the dribble. Edwards in backcourt. Looks it right, moves it right, bounce pass comes to Holderman, back out to Nahar. Nahar goes to Woods. Woods holds high, looks in, flies it left wing, comes off to Edwards, back out to Harriman. Shot clock's down to 11. Harriman, right side bouncing to Woods. Woods looks inside to Nahar. He turns, fires it out to Edwards. Edwards drives in the lane, fell down, lost the handle. 1 second, the shot clock goes off, and Indiana will have it. Good defensive play by IU. And the Hoosier fans are loving it as they come to their feet. And we got a timeout. Score. Indiana 54, Wright State 35. And this crowd loves every second of it. We'll be back after the 60-second network timeout.
The Hoosier Lottery reminds basketball fans that you have to play to win.
Dave the dribbler Nelson looks for star shooter Switch Sampson for the final shot. Where is he? Oh, no, the Switchers on the sideline signing autographs. The All-Stars lose a heartbreaker, all because of a 7-foot ego trip.
Get in the game and win. Play the Hoosier Lottery.
Play the two newest scratch-off games from the Hoosier Lottery. Win up to $777 with Lucky Sevens, or up to $77,000 with Super Sevens.
Hi, this is Willard Scott for True Value. We'd like to recognize the Indiana University basketball team, better known as the Hoosiers, for their hard work all season. A thunderous slam dunk or a buzzer beater shot is something special. And in March, True Value has something special of their own. A Timeout cordless plug-in timer from True Guard. It gives empty homes a lived-in look when you're away. And it's just $3.79 while quantities last at your local True Value hardware store or home center.
Before we go any further, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
WNJY, Delphi, Monticello, where Don Kennedy is your host for Big Band Jump every Sunday night at 6 o'clock here on Joy 103.
Well, Indiana's on a 9-point run right now after having it cut down to a 10-point lead. They've got it back up to 19. That equals their largest lead they had in this game as Calvert Chaney has hit 4 out of 5 in this second half of play and has been a one-man show offensively, but he's getting a lot of help from Damon Bailey, who right now has 7 assists in this basketball game. The Hoosiers this half, 4 of 7, 57% for the game, 52.6 for the Wright State team, 2 of 4 this half, 50% for the game. They're hitting 36.8%.
Calvert Chaney has played just 12 minutes of basketball so far, and he has 18 points.
He has done a pretty good job, but then we've always known that for quite some time that Calvert does a pretty good job.
He had 8 minutes in the first half. He's played 4 in this half, and he has 18. That's amazing. Graham and Bailey will bring it down for the Hoosiers. Brian Evans, Calvert Chaney, and Madden over the lineup for IU. Back to the zone goes Wright State. Here's Bailey across the line. Lobs it down. Oh, what a low pass to Calvert for a slam dunk. He's got 20. Indiana 56, Wright State 35. Now across the timeline. Woods in backcourt, the Hoosiers' biggest lead at 21. Woods, baseline, pulls it out, looks for help, bounces low to Edwards. He lost the handle. Nahar had it knocked away out of bounds by Chaney.
Indiana really playing fine defense. And I'll tell you, somebody that's playing good defense is Brian Evans right now. He's really helping his team.
Hams just passed us a note that David Bailey now has 8 assists. Here's the bouncer to the right side to Holderman. To Woods, drives baseline, pulls up, fires, no good. Rebound Edwards, back up he goes. Couldn't get the roll. Rebound Calvert Chaney. Clears the Greg Graham on a break. Graham one-on-one on Holderman. And a whistle. We got a foul on Holderman. Holderman picks up the personal. That will be his second of the ball game. And Indiana's Greg Graham was the guy that got bandaged down. It looks like he's limping a little bit, but he's had that big bandage on there for a couple of weeks now. Actually got cut by Todd Lindemann. Here's the inbound to Calvert. Now off to Greg Graham to Bailey. Damon drives baseline, pulls up, clears it back outside to Greg Graham. Graham in backcourt. Circles it right, bounces left to Bailey. Bailey fakes, drives in the lane, jumps it off to Brian Evans. Evans brings it back outside to Damon. Back out to Greg Graham. He fires a 3. It's off the mark. The rebound inside, batted away. Knocked out to Holderman for Wright State. Back the other way comes Holderman on the right wing. Looks inside, holding on the wing, brings it back out on the dribble. Holderman now directs some traffic out there. He's being guarded by Brian Evans. The bounce pass goes right to Woods. Woods down low to Edwards. Edwards turns on Calvert Chaney, puts it up and missed it. The rebound taken out of there by Brian Evans. Evans gives to Greg Graham. Graham left side. Stops. Looks slow. He gonna bring it outside to Brian Evans now, and Evans goes right to Damon Bailey. Bailey to Calvert in the corner. Drives baseline, spins back out, fires the shot anyway, and got it! Calvert Chaney, his 22nd point of the contest. The Hoosiers lead 58-35. Down the floor comes Woods for Wright State. Woods bounces to Nahar inside, and Matt Nover gets called for a holding foul. Nover now has picked up his first foul of this contest. 13:57 on the clock, and Indiana leads 58-35. And here he comes. Alan Henderson's going to check in, and this crowd explodes.
Well, Calvert Chaney has just hit 6 in a row. He is really on a roll, and let's see who Henderson replaces.
Alan Henderson gets a standing ovation from 38,000 fans as Mandover goes to the sideline. Here comes the inbound. Woods gets it in, knocked out of bounds. It'll belong to Wright State, however. So Henderson, with damage to his knee ligaments, or ligament, is in, and the crowd is loving it. Here's the drive-in. Harriman scores. A baseline drive shuts the crowd down. He gets a 6th point. 58-37, IU by 21. Bailey up the court. Damon in backcourt looks for help. Bounces left side to Brian Evans. Evans down low, back out to Bailey. Bailey back out to Evans. Evans for 3. And he got it. Brian Evans' second 3 of the ball game is 6 points. Now, up the court for Wright State as the Hoosiers lead it by 24, 61-37. 13:20 to go. Here's Mark Woods. Looks low. Goes to Edwards. Edwards against Evans. Fires it up. Missed the shot. Rebound. Brian Evans for Indiana. Evans clears it to Greg Graham. Graham across the timeline. Graham in backcourt holds. Goes right to Damon Bailey. Bailey circles it back toward the top of the key. Goes right to Allen Henderson. He fires up a jump shot. It's off the rim. No good. Rebound batted away. Brian Evans has got it. Lost the handle. Bounces inside. Covered up and in. Cheney's got 24. Indiana leads at 63-37. They're walking away from the Raiders. The Hoosiers with 12:43 to go. Bounce pass Woods. Wright State's Bill Edwards comes up with it on the wing. Now looks it low for Nahar. He turns. Fakes. Turns again. Has it stolen away. Bailey's got it. 3 on 2. Bailey all the way. Scoops it up and in. Damon Bailey's got 4. Indiana leads 65-37. Timeout. Wright State. 12:22 to go, and the Hoosiers are rocking here at the Hoosier Dome. We'll be back after the 60-second network timeout.
This is the sound of the most dreaded vehicle on the road today, the tow truck. Because when you hear it, you know it's going to cost you. So don't cut corners. Get the best parts money can buy. Napa. Parts built to meet or exceed original standards. And avoid the tow truck. Napa. Because there are no unimportant parts.
This NCAA basketball game is presented by University Broadcasting with 2 sports networks and 7 radio stations. University Broadcasting is rapidly becoming a leader in the broadcast industry. Our networks use state-of-the-art transmission and satellite distribution equipment for unmatched audio quality. This reflects our commitment to programming and marketing excellence, bringing Hoosiers the finest in sports entertainment. University Broadcasting, establishing a new tradition for radio excellence in Indiana.
Well, back once again at the Hoosier Dome. 12:22 to go with Indiana on top of Wright State, 65-37. D-Dance, gentlemen and ladies, clothier of Indianapolis, want to join the thousands of Hoosier fans all across the state in congratulating IU's basketball team on winning the Big Ten championship, and of course wishing them all the best in their quest for the '93 NCAA title. D-Dance open daily Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6. Wednesday and Thursday open till 9. D-Dance Clothing to complement your lifestyle on West 86th Street at Township Line Road in the North Willow Mall in Indianapolis.
Well, Don, Indiana with some 64% shooting have proceeded to outscore Wright State 20-2 in the last 7 minutes. It was a 45-35 game before Indiana started that barrage. They hit 13 straight unanswered points. They gave away a fairly easy basket, and now they've come back strong to score on 7 more points and to lead by 28, 65-37. Calvert Cheney has hit 7 baskets in a row this half.
Pat Graham checks in for Damon Bailey. Bailey's contribution tonight, Max, is just 2 baskets, but it's far beyond that. He has been phenomenal in a lot of other areas.
He's got 9 assists in this game already, 2 steals, 3 rebounds.
So Damon has had a very fine ball game. Across the timeline, Mark Woods down backcourt for Wright State. Woods looks for some help, bounces it off to Edwards on the right wing. Edwards against Brian Evans, gives it outside to Harriman. Harriman goes to Woods in backcourt. 65-37, the Hoosiers have taken total control. Here's Harriman off to Edwards, lost the handle. Calvert picks it up, just to Greg Graham. Graham takes it in the lane, gives it off to Allen Henderson, puts it up, scores! Allen Henderson, his first 2 points since he went down with a knee injury. 67-37, and IU leads by 30. Backcourt dribble. Left side, Woods. Fires up a three. In and out, no. Rebound, Calvert Cheney. Outlet to Pat Graham. 3-on-2. Pat goes right side to Greg Graham. Fires it up. Missed the shot. Rebound inside. Alan Henderson pulls it out of there. Gives to Calvert in backcourt. Knight claps his hands together, knowing that Henderson getting that rebound was a key. Now Graham into Allen. Turns around, clears to Bryant Evans. Evans baseline. Back out to Pat Graham. Pat holds, bounces low to Calvert. Calvert turns, tries to force it up, and Nahar fouls it. Nahar now has got 3. And right now, this Hoosier ball club is on a run. They lead by 30 with 11 minutes and 12 seconds to go. It has become no contest.
Well, Bill Edwards, who is, of course, an excellent player on the part of Wright State, is 4 for 16.
Cheney at the line with 24, now 25. Calvert has just played excellent basketball. Chris Reynolds is going to come off the bench now for IU. McGuire's going to come in for Wright State. Calvert hits, nope, he misses that one. The rebound comes away. Wright State's basketball. Mark Woods with it. He'll bring it up across the timeline. Woods in backcourt. On the dribble. Stops. Down low pass to Harriman. Harriman turns around to Holderman. Holderman against Pat Graham. Slides it right to Nahar. Back to Holderman. Holderman bounces to Nahar again. Jump shot on the turnaround. No good. And Bryant Evans has got the rebound. Clears to Greg Graham. Graham up the court. Graham in backcourt. Looked it low. Can't find his man. Turns around. Clears to Calvert. Cheney drives it left. Gets it to Henderson. Henderson to the baseline. Back out it comes to Graham. Graham on the wing. He'll clear it back outside to Pat Graham. Pat now circles it back toward the right. Pat looks low, comes out to Greg Graham, left side to Bryant Evans. Evans drives baseline, pulls it out to Greg Graham. Graham holds on to it, bounces it into Calvert, drives, puts it up, and couldn't get it. Tip up is no good. Rebound battle for Calvert, lost it away to Edwards. Edwards on a break the other way. He pulls up, fires a shot off the rim, no good. And we got a whistle and a foul call on Greg Graham. So Greg picks up the personal. That'll be his second of the ball game, and Bill Edwards will go to the free throw line. Edwards, again, Max, got off to a quick second half start, and since then has been basically not heard from.
Well, he got one basket, his very first shot. He's now missed 4 in a row since that time. He's now going to get a go to the line. Greg Graham really struggling tonight. He is only 2 out of 8.
And he goes to the sidelines as Chris Reynolds replaces him. At the stripe is Edwards, who has 12 points in this ball game, and he fires it good. He's got his 13th. Well, if Graham was due for a bad ball game, it's not too shabby that it comes in this one, Max, because he has played phenomenal basketball in recent contests, especially since Alan Henderson's injury.
He certainly has. He's been largely responsible for some of Indiana's good success.
Edwards with one more shot coming, looking for his 14th point, and got it. Edwards with 14 now. The Hoosiers lead it 68-39. Here's Chris Reynolds across the timeline quickly, goes to Pat Graham. Pat slides it back out, and it's batted out of bounds by Woods. It'll belong to IU. Pat Graham will inbound from the near sideline, bounces it out to Chris Reynolds. Reynolds now on the move. Double team, jumps the pass to Pat Graham. Pat back out it comes to Chris. Chris looking down low, jumps it off to Henderson. Baseline, inside pass deflected to Pat Graham and a foul. So it'll belong to IU. Let's see how many team fouls now. That's 6 against Wright State. The Hoosiers should have it out of bounds. 42, Bill Edwards, nail on it. That's his 4th foul. Edwards averaging 25 a ball game this year. Well, they're going to shoot it. So Calvert Cheney will go to the line. That is the 17th foul. They didn't have it on the board. So 7 for Wright State, Indiana in the 1-and-1. Calvert fires it up, and it bounces around and doesn't drop, and the rebound comes to Nahar for Wright State. Indiana's now 10 of 12 from the free throw line. And both misses from Calvert Cheney. Here's the left side pass, McGuire to Woods. He fires a 12-footer and got it. Mark Woods, his first 2 of the second half, he's got 12. 68-41. Here's a jumper. Chris Reynolds goes to Pat Graham. Pat drives it inside, and it's batted away off to Bryant Evans outside to Chris Reynolds. Reynolds, top of the key, jumps it again to Evans. Evans in the corner. He'll bring it back out on the move. Goes to Calvert. Baseline pass to Henderson. It's knocked out of bounds. It'll belong to Wright State. And Robert Knight looks out at Calvert and says, I don't want to see that many passes.
Overpassed that time. He should have taken the shot.
So Indiana leading it 68-41, 27-point advantage. 36,003, the actual attendance for tonight's ball game. Here's the pass to Edwards. He fires a 15-footer, and he missed it. The rebound is batted away, knocked out of bounds. It's going to belong to Wright State. The Hoosiers are not as sharp as they might seem, Max.
No, they aren't. Really, this is not one of their better basketball games.
Inbounding. McGuire gets it to Nahar. But they're doing so many things well defensively. You got to give them credit for that. That's the big plus in this ball game. Here's Woods driving right, pulls up, fires it up anyway, got it. Woods got a nice move inside for his 14. Now it is 68-43. The lead slips down to 25. Here's a double team. Again, the pass goes to Evans. Bryant looks low, then brings it back out. Gets it to Calvert. Inside, puts it up, and he got it. Calvert Chaney now has got 27. It is 70-48. They get 70-43, my apology. And backcourt dribble. This is McGuire. Goes right side to Delmy Harriman. Helmer goes to Woods. Woods in backcourt. Austin and Nahar left side to McGuire, who fires a three. He missed it, an air ball. Rebound comes off to Pat Graham. Pat down the floor to Allen Henderson. Allen pulls up on the wing left to the baseline. The ball's knocked out of bounds. He lost it. And it's going to belong to Wright State. Here comes Todd Leary and Matt Nover back in. And sitting down now is Henderson along with Pat Graham. And the crowd reacts favorably to Allen's performance.
Well, that's a good workout for him. It won an actual play. That's really good.
Up the court. McGuire across the timeline. McGuire goes left side. The ball is batted out of bounds by Chris Reynolds. It'll belong to Wright State. Happens right in front of us, so they'll hand the ball to Mark Woods, and he'll inbound the ball. Woods gets it in. It comes to McGuire, back to Woods, down left side. It comes off to Newface in there for the first time. This is Ronaldo O'Neal. He gets it left side to Edwards, who fires a three, and he missed it high off the rim. Rebound put back up, no. Calvert Chaney clears the board. He gets it to Chris Reynolds. Reynolds to Todd Leary. Leary purges around, gives it outside to Calvert. They'll set the offense. Now to Reynolds. Reynolds looks low, goes left to Calvert. Calvert down inside. Baseline pass outside. Cross courts at the Leary. Off to Evans. Three on the way. No good. Rebound Chaney. Knocked away. A whistle blows. What do we got? Foul called against Wright State. So the Hoosiers will have it at the free throw line. 7:29 to go as the Hoosiers lead 70-43. 27-point margin. Jeff Unverfurth is coming back in the game now for Wright State. He'll replace Delmy Harriman. Harriman to the sideline with 6 points tonight. Chaney goes to the stripe for IU with 27. So Calvert at the line, averaging 21-9 with a 27-point performance in this one. He fires this free one. It is good. And now he has 28. And for the night, 3 out of 5 thus far, looking for his 29th point. We're down to the 7:29 mark of the ball game. And he hit a boat. He's got 29. Timeout is going to be called. Score. IU 72, Wright State 43. We'll be back after the 60-second network break.
To get ahead, you've got to think big. Your local Century 21 office is part of the largest real estate sales organization in the world. That means you'll have access to more buyers and sellers than the competition, along with the best training and the largest referral system in the industry. Plus, their wide range of real estate products and services can give you a real advantage. They have career opportunities just waiting for you. Contact your local Century 21 office today or call 1-800-886-4849. With the Century 21 system, it's as good as done. Each office independently owned and operated.
Say, neighbors, that one of those new snapper lawn tractors I see in your garage?
You betcha. This baby is built tough, and talk about power. A Briggs IC with 12 horses, Peerless 5-speed gear drive, 30-inch cutting deck with 6 cutting heights, 32-inch turning radius, 2-year limited warranty.
Boy, you must have run into some cash to buy this snapper tractor a couple of months before the grass needs to be cut.
Oh, not at all. I just use Snap Credit, so I don't have to start paying for it until October. Besides, with Snapper tractor starting at $14.99, these babies aren't going to last very long down at the Snapper dealer.
You know, neighbor, I think I'll go visit that Snapper dealer before the spring race starts.
Where Indiana leads 72-43 over Wright State. You know, it's all here. The teams, the coaches, the history, the excitement of the 1993 NCAA Final Four. To receive your copy of the official souvenir program, Send $9 to NCAA programs. 904 North Broadway, Lexington, Kentucky, 40505. Please allow 4 to 6 weeks for delivery. A message from the NCAA.
Well, Don, you mentioned defense a while ago, and I really think that's the thing that has really turned it around here in the second half. I agree with you completely. The Wright State team is shooting only 29%. Much of that is due to the fact Indiana's defense has really been tenacious. The other thing that Indiana has done very well is rebound. They're out rebounding Wright State 39-21. And then when you top that off with some 57% shooting right now in the second half, 11 of 19, Indiana has run away with this here in the second half with a 29-point lead right now.
We have Todd Leary along with Chris Reynolds, Pat Graham, Brian Evans, and Matt Nover, the lineup for IU. This has been the most productive effort we've seen out of Brian Evans, Max, in several ball games.
He's hit 2 out of 4 so far, both of them three-point shots.
But his rebounding is what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry, 8. You're right.
So Indiana right now with a big lead and Wright State with a basketball. This is Mark Woods to the right side, cut off on the wing, brings it back out, looks it inside, bounces it low to Edwards, a whistle blows, and we got a foul call apparently against IU. Pat Graham is called for the personal. That'll be his second foul of the ball game. The ball belongs again out of bounds. That's only the 14th foul against IU. Out of bounds, Wright State. The ball in backcourt goes to McGuire. Chris McGuire fires it right side to Ronaldo O'Neal. Back out to Mark Woods, who drives on Leary, fires it up off balance. No good, and the rebound to Matt Nover. Bounces to Chris Reynolds. Reynolds quickly across the timeline. A double-team trap, looks for help, clears it away to Brian Evans, outside to Leary. Now out to Reynolds. Down to the corner to Pat Graham. Threw it away. Graham tried to save it, and he did right off the hand of Jeff Unverfurth. Pretty good play by Pat Graham.
Well, Indiana's getting trapped out there, and it's leaving people open underneath, but they just really haven't been able to find them.
Pat will get it into Chris Reynolds. Another trap. Gets away from it. Gets it off to Brian Evans. Brian dribbles once. Gives it back to Chris Reynolds. Reynolds down. Looks it low. Turns around. Clears to Pat Graham. Pat inside to Brian Evans, who fires it up and scores and a foul. Brian Evans has his 8th point of the ball game and gets a chance for his 9th at the free throw line. Solid job by Brian Evans in this contest with 6:43 to go. The Hoosiers are up 31 now at 74-43. Calvert Cheney, Greg Graham, Damon Bailey, all starters in this game are on the sidelines right now. That free throw by Brian Evans, however, no good, and the rebound comes off to Wright State. Down the floor, this is Chris McGuire. Right side pass to Ronaldo O'Neal. He looks inside, then drives it across the circle. Comes left side, pulls up, gets it off on the wing to Unverfurth. He comes back out to O'Neal. O'Neal clears away to McGuire. Inside to Woods. Woods drives baseline, pulls up. Block shot by Brian Evans, and he comes up with a loose ball. Clears it away to Leary. Up court to Chris Reynolds. Reynolds on a break 3-on-2 to Pat Graham. Takes it inside. Tried to pass it, and Unverfurth stole it. And they got a break going the other way. This is Edwards, and he'll slam it with a reverse dunk. So Bill Edwards gets a little mustard on that hot dog of his, and he's got 16. It is 74-45. Here's Reynolds bouncing to Leary, now into Evans. Evans looks low, fires a shot up, got it. Brian Evans scores again. He's got 10 now. Indiana, 76, Wright State 45. O'Neal with the basketball, looks it inside, gets it off to Woods. He drives, or McGuire rather, and he puts it up and in. Nice move by Chris McGuire for his first field goal. Back the other way, Reynolds goes to Leary. Tied inside to Matt Nover. He lost the handle, but he was fouled. So Matt Nover will go to the free throw line. Here comes Pat Knight off the IU bench. So Pat will check in for the first time with 5:29 to go. Also coming in for the first time is John Ramey, a 6'3 sophomore out of Thorntown, Indiana, Western Boone High School. So Ralph Underhill is bringing off the Hoosier contingent off his bench.
Yeah, I think he's tossed in the towel right now. Of course, with the lead Indiana has and the way they're playing, it's going to be awfully hard for him to try to come back here.
Pat Knight checks in for Brian Evans, and also in is Dan Skeel, a 6'7 junior out of Anderson, Indiana. So 2 other Hoosiers off the Wright State team are now in the ball game for the first time. Matt Nover missed that free one. He has not scored in the second half. He had 12 first-half points.
Well, Brian Evans, Don, had 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block shot.
Matt hits the second, 13 points in the ball game, and Indiana's up 77-47. Up the floor with the ball. Backcourt, Woods. Across the timeline. Slides it right. Pulls it back out to the wing. Kicks it out to O'Neal. Left side off. Inside pass to Skio. Now out to Ramey. Ramey drives. Shoots it up with the left hand. No. Rebound. A whistle. We got a foul called against Wright State, or is it against Indiana? It's against IU. They called it on Matt Nover. That'll be his second foul of the contest. So the ball again will belong to Wright State out of bounds. This is Mark Woods who'll inbound it. 5:13 to go. The Hoosiers lead by 30. The inbound to Ramey. Outside to O'Neal. O'Neal, 2 dribbles left. Gives it back to Ramey. Now to O'Neal again, who takes it inside. Shoots it up short. Rebound batted up in the air. Knocked away. Ramey, or checking it is O'Neal. Inside to Edwards. Edwards down low. Puts it up. Missed the shot. Rebound knocked out. It comes off to O'Neal again. He scoops it up and no good again. A battle loose ball. Ramey lost the shot. And Skio misses. And finally Edwards tips it in. Edwards gets his 18th point. Up the court, Indiana. Pat Knight with the ball. Looks it on the right wing, down low to Matt Nover. He turns on Edwards. Throws it back to Pat Knight. Baseline. He kicks it out to Chris Reynolds. Jump cross to Todd Leary. Leary fires a 3 and hit it. Todd Leary. His first points of the ball game on a 3-point bucket. 80-49. Indiana by 31. Backcourt. Woods goes right side to Ronaldo O'Neal. Back to Woods. He fires an 18-footer. It's off the mark, no good. And the rebound pulled out of there by Reynolds. Kicks it out to Matt Nover. He goes to Chris Reynolds. Down the floor quickly. Reynolds penetrates and lost the handle. And it's stolen away by Dan Skio for Wright State, who goes to Edwards the other way. He puts it up, missed the shot. Rebound Reynolds. Reynolds down the floor to Todd Leary. Gets it to Pat Knight. Scoops it up and in. Pat Knight, his first 2. Indiana 82, Wright State 49. Here come the green of Wright State again. And Damon Bailey, or let's see. Nope. We thought we were going to have another change there. Here's Ramey firing up a left-hander that misses. The rebound tipped by Skio, no good. He puts it back up and he scores. So the Anderson native gets 2 against IU, and it's now 82-51. Here's Reynolds across the timeline in backcourt. Looks it in low to Matt Nover, who turns, fires a 15-footer, and he hit it. Matt Nover has his 15th point of the ball game. Now it's 84-51. Alan Henderson getting set to come back in for IU. Up court pass to Ronaldo O'Neal. O'Neal in backcourt on the dribble. O'Neal starts it toward the right side. Lobs it low. Pat Graham bats it away. Todd Leary comes up with it. Here come the Hoosiers on a 4-on-1 break. Nice speed to Nover. Lays it up and into the foul. Matt Nover's got 17 and a nice assist from Todd Leary. And IU with another chance at a 3-point play, and they're just walking on the Wright State Raiders now. It's 86-51. IU showing that number 1 seeding was the right one.
Well, they're only hitting 68% this half. That's 17 out of 25. They've only missed 8 shots the entire second half.
2:56 left in this one, and the Hoosiers are on a run again as Nover at the line has 17 points, looking for his 18th. Matt eyes the attempt. Up it goes, and it's short off the rim. The rebound comes off to Bill Edwards for Wright State. Down the floor, this is O'Neal on the left wing. Back out it comes to Chris McGuire. Inside to Ramey. Ramey fakes, fires it up, partially blocked by Matt Nover. Rebound off to Nover, down to Todd Leary. Leary pulls up, takes it inside to Pat Knight. To Pat Graham, lost the handle, but a foul. Another personal is called on Wright State. Some good passing by Indiana again. And it'll be Pat Graham going to the free throw line. Here comes Alan Henderson into the lineup for again his second stint tonight. So Henderson in the ball game as Matt Nover goes to the sideline and gets a big hug from Talbert Cheney.
Of course, Henderson's playing before his hometown crowd here as well as before just Hoosier fans here. They gave him a great ovation. I'm sure that really makes him feel good.
And Bill Edwards will go to the sideline and gets a handshake from Bob Knight. And congratulations, as he, of course, is a lock on being a draftee in the NBA. He finishes with 18 points, it would appear. And let's see who replaced him. Checking in was Eric Wills, that is, a 6'2 sophomore for the first time. As Pat Graham fires a free throw, he got it. Pat now with 11 points in this ball game. That's his first point of the second half, we should say. And Pat will have one more. It is now 87-51. 2:38 left in this one, and Pat Graham has one more shot coming. It is good. And timeout is called with a score. Indiana 88, Wright State 51. Back after the 60-second timeout. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
Beaver Dam Inn in Monticello is the place for exquisite prime rib and scrumptious seafood. Visit Beaver's now for their nightly dinner specials, exceptional service, and delicious homemade soups. While you're there, ask about their catering and private party services. Located just south of the Norway Dam, everyone's eager to eat at Beaver's. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Call 583-8375. The Beaver Dam Inn.
Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury, the affordability store, has the #1 best-selling car in America. Plus, they have the #1 best-selling truck in America. At Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury has great selection, a pleasant atmosphere, affordable quality service, and guaranteed no high pressure. Their goal at Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury is your total satisfaction. Nobody makes it more affordable than the Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury store, located at the east end of the Logansport Mall.
Here at the Hoosier Dome with 2:38 to go, Indiana right now owns an 88-51 lead.
Well, Indiana has, excuse me, I was looking another way there, Don. Indiana has just absolutely blown them away. They did it basically right after the start of the first half. Indiana fell back to start the half, having only a 10-point lead, and then they ran on a 20-2 run, 13 of those unanswered points, and since then, the Wright State team has tried to double team out at the front and has given lots of openings underneath, and Indiana has done an excellent job. Also on the break, as Indiana has forced them into 13 turnovers, but on the other hand, Indiana has turned it over 13 times also.
Bob Knight trying to get him to start the game again, because obviously he wants his young men to be able to go back to the hotel and get a night's rest, but they're not going to get there too early. And the crowd's now starting to boo.
They were doing this early this afternoon when the game was running late and out of hand as it is right now.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
WNJY Joy 103, where Don Kennedy is your host for Big Band Jump. That's every Sunday night at 6 o'clock here on Joy 103.
Down across the timeline with the ball comes Chris McGuire for Wright State to John Ramey on the baseline. Ramey will bring it back to the wing, looks inside, finds a new man in the ball game. This is Jason Smith, who turns around, missed the shot. Ramey missing the shot, and here's Todd Leary on the rebound. He brings it across the timeline to Pat Knight on the left wing. Pat looks in, gives it out to Chris Reynolds. Right side to Todd Leary. 3 on the way. Bingo! Todd Leary's got his 6th point of the contest. The Hoosiers now lead at 91-51. They've got a 40-point advantage. Left side pass goes to Wills. Against Graham, lost it out of bounds. Indiana will have it. And the Hoosiers will have the ball.
Hey, our man Joe there.
Pat Graham said it wasn't my defense. Here's the pass into Leary. Todd brings it across the timeline. Looks at right, comes back left, bounces to Pat Knight. He drives baseline, pulls up, clears it away to Todd Leary. Turnaround jumper, good! Todd Leary's got 8. Indiana leads at 93-51. 1:42. Across the timeline, backcourt on the move goes McGuire. Right side to Ramey on the wing. Ramey brings it back onto the left-hand dribble. Looks in, holds on, bounces it down low. It comes off to Smith. Back out it comes to Ramey. Now, Ramey goes low again on the baseline. And again, this time it is Wills who has it. Inside it goes to Smith. He gets it away to McGuire. Down low to Smith. He turns, looks for help, clears it outside. It goes to Wills, and he fires it in. That's a three-pointer. So Eric Wills has got a basket in this ball game now, and it's 93-54. Pat Knight cross courts to Allen Henderson baseline. Allen, baseline move, fires it up, and couldn't get it. Rebound, Pat Graham. He's tied up inside. Jump ball turn goes, possession turn goes to IU. Dan Steele is the man who tied him up. And now coming into the ball game is Scott Blair, a 6'1 junior from Westerville, Ohio for Wright State. So Dan Underhill has unloaded the entire bench. The inbound comes, Pat Knight has it to Todd Leary, backcourt to Pat Graham, right side to Chris Reynolds. Reynolds down low to Pat Knight, who turns, gets it inside to Allen, fires it up, no good. Rebound taken out of there by Wright State. Bounce pass to Steele. Comes away to Blair. Blair brings it across the timeline. Left side pass to Ramey. Ramey lets a three fly, and he misses. The rebound comes off the Reynolds. Down the floor to Pat Knight. All by himself for the pick, and he slams it. Pat Knight with a slam dunk. He's got 4. Here's Reynolds, and he tried to steal it away as Chris Reynolds jumps over the bench, and he's all right as he comes back on the floor. Here we go. 23 seconds left. Here's Ramey. The Hoosier fans coming to their feet. Down low to Steele. Inside pass thrown out of bounds. It'll belong to IU. 15 seconds to go, and this crowd loving it, and the Hoosier players are having a great time.
That's what I was going to say. They're having as much fun as the crowd right now.
Here's Reynolds. Top of the key. Drives it inside. Shoots it up. Off the glass, no. Henderson rebounds. Back up, no good. And the rebound pulled out of there by Smith. The Reynolds shoots and misses. Henderson rebounds up and in. And that's going to be the ball game. It's over. The Hoosiers win it. 97-54 here at the Dome in the first round of the NCAA basketball tournament. And Todd Leary comes over and harasses Pat Knight for the slam dunk as the Indiana Ball Club walks out of the Hoosier Dome tonight with a big win of the first round of this tournament. It was expected, but you never know, Max. It's always good to have that first one under your belt.
Well, you certainly do, because this Wright State team was a good basketball team, and one in the first half certainly gave itself a good account. It just let things get out of hand in the second half. Indiana, with a great deal more talent, simply took it away.
We'll be back to recap it for you in a moment. 97-54, the final. IU on top of Wright State. Back after the 60-second network break.
State Farm people work together to give you a great homeowner's insurance value. When you have a homeowner's insurance claim, your State Farm agent works together with State Farm claims people. They work together to avoid hassles and delays and speed your claim so you get fast, fair service. Claims teamwork. It makes State Farm a great value. It's a big reason State Farm insures more homes than anyone else.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This NCAA IU basketball game is presented by University Broadcasting with 2 sports networks and 7 radio stations. University Broadcasting is rapidly becoming a leader in the broadcast industry. Our networks use state-of-the-art transmission and satellite distribution equipment for unmatched audio quality. This reflects our commitment to programming and marketing excellence, bringing Hoosiers the finest in sports entertainment. University Broadcasting, establishing a new tradition for radio excellence in Indiana.
Well, back once again at the Hoosier Dome, where tonight Indiana rolls to a 97-54 victory over the Wright State Raiders in this first round game of the NCAA Tournament, as the Hoosiers go to 29-3 on the season now, and of course to the second round of this NCAA Tournament on Sunday right here in the Dome once again, and that matchup will feature IU against Xavier. We of course will have the broadcast starting at 11:50 a.m. That's 11:50 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, all of our network stations will be joining us for that broadcast. Let's look at the individual scoring in this contest tonight, won by Indiana convincingly over a good Wright State basketball team. For the Wright State Raiders, 2 players in double figures, led by their top scorer, Bill Edwards, who had 18 points in the ball game. Mark Woods had 14. Those are the only players to score in double figures for Wright State. 9 points for Mike Nahar, 6 points for Delmy Harriman, 2 points for Chris McGuire, 2 points for Dan Skio, 3 points for Eric Wills. Scott Blair, John Ramey, Jason Smith, Ronaldo O'Neill, Jeff Unverfurth, and Andy Holderman all played but did not score. So Wright State with 2 players in double figures, Bill Edwards with 18, Mark Woods with 14. For Indiana, the Hoosiers tonight had several players in double figures, in fact 4 total. Calvert Chaney had 29. He led Indiana and all players tonight in scoring with 29 points. There were 17 for Matt Nover, who had a great first half, 17 for Nover, 12 for Pat Graham, 10 for Brian Evans. Then it dropped down to 9 for Greg Graham, 8 for Todd Leary, 4 points for Alan Henderson, 4 points for Damon Bailey, 4 points for Pat Knight. The only player for the Hoosiers that did not score tonight was Chris Reynolds. So Indiana had 4 players in double figures, led by Calvert Cheney's 29, 17 for Matt Nover, 12 for Pat Graham, and 10 for Brian Evans. We'll be back to take a look at the statistics team-wise in this ball game and some other individual notes in a moment. But first, let's pause for the 60-second break. This is the Indiana University Basketball Network.
Chevy's, Logansport's most popular nightclub, invites you to rock and roll to the greatest hits of the 50s and 60s every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Yes, Chevy's friendly atmosphere, unbelievable lighting, and outstanding sound makes for a good time for everyone. Now at Chevy's on Sunday night, it's country western night. So pull on the boots, get out the hat, and plan to dance the two-step at Chevy's. Whether you're looking for a little bit of country or a little bit of rock and roll, Chevy's has it. Located inside Myers Sport Bowl East, 1/2 mile east of the Logansport Mall.
A law firm that believes integrity comes first. O'Brien and Morrissey wants you to know about their law practice located at 1015 Bank One Building in Lafayette. You can talk to Thomas O'Brien or Michael Morrissey with your first consultation free. They can assist you in divorce, personal injury, real estate, wills, estates, drunk driving, and criminal cases. Meeting the legal needs of the people in our area. O'Brien and Morrissey. Call 317-742-9027.
Tonight's attendance, 36,000. Well, back once again at the Hoosier Dome, where tonight, Indiana, a giant triumph over Wright State's Raiders in the opening round of this NCAA Basketball Midwest Regional first round game, 97-54 over the Raiders of Wright State, who finished their campaign at 20-10. Max, look at the team statistics in tonight's ball game.
Well, Don, the statistics are just as dominating as is the final score. Indiana finishes the game shooting 56.9% on 37 of 65. They were 16 of 31 in the first half, 51.6 in the second half. They were 21 of 34, 61.8. At one point, they'd only missed 8 shots in that entire second half. They finally end up missing 13 of them, but that was mainly because they were really playing a lot of Andy over there at the end and couldn't make them drop. But almost 57% shooting for the game. On the other hand, Indiana's defense, particularly in the second half, absolutely ate up Wright State. First half, they held them to 35% on 12 of 34. Second half, 28% on 10 of 35. So they shoot the game 22 of 69, 31.9%. That's a basketball team that came into this game shooting 52%. So you can see Indiana did an absolute fantastic job on Wright State in the game. From three-point range, Indiana got off to an awfully slow start, hitting just one of their first 6 shots. But they finished hitting 8 of 17, 47%. For Wright State, they hit only 3 out of 15 from three-point range, 20%. From the foul line, Indiana was really good. They hit 10 of their first 10 and then finish up hitting only 15 out of 20. So they hit only 4 of their last 10 shots, but they do shoot 75%. For Wright State, they finished 7 of 8 from the foul line. The rebounding in the game, Indiana absolutely dominating that. 51 rebounds compared to only 30 for Wright State. Both halves about the same. Indiana with 26 rebounds in the first half, 25 in the second half. The turnovers, Indiana had some problems tonight with turnovers. They turned it over 13 times. Wright State turned it over a total of 14 times. Well, individually tonight, Calvert Cheney with a great night, hitting on 12 of 17. He missed the first shot he took in the second half, and then he hit 6 in a row. Alan Henderson was 2 of 6 from the field tonight. Certainly good to see him back in there. Matt Nover, 7 of 10. He had a great first half in which he was 5 of 7. Greg Graham, just 2 of 8. A really down night for him, but he has had his share of fame and certainly will continue to have it as we progress in this tourney. Damon Bailey, just 2 of 6 shooting, but you'll see he did a good job elsewhere on the floor. Chris Reynolds missed his only 2 shots. Todd Leary was 3 for 3. Pat Graham, 3 for 5. Brian Evans, 4 of 6. Including 2 3-pointers, and Pat Knight was 2 for 2, including a slam jam. Well, Bill Edwards, an off night, I'm sure, for him, but Indiana's defense had a lot to do with that as he finishes just 6 out of 23 shots tonight. Harriman, 3 of 7. Nahar, 4 of 8. Mark Woods, 6 of 5. Andy Holderman, who I'm sure wanted to do a good job before his home state people, was 0 for 4 tonight. Skeets was 1 of 2. Ramey was 0 of 4. O'Neill 0 of 2. McGuire 1 of 2. And Wills 1 of 2. We were talking about Bailey a moment ago. He had 4 rebounds. He had 9 assists. And that is his second best assist game since the first Michigan game when he had 10. He had 3 steals tonight. Calvert Chaney led Indiana in rebounding with 8. Henderson had 3. Nover had 5. Chris Reynolds had 6 rebounds. Greg Graham 5. Brian Evans led the Hoosiers with 9 compared to 8 for Calvert Chaney. Evans also had 3 assists. He had 1 blocked shot. So that was a great night for him. Bill Edwards led the Wright State Ball Club with 8 rebounds, and Nahar had 6. We had Mark Woods with 5 assists as highlights for the Wright State team. So that's the way it looks, Don, as Indiana's biggest lead was its 43-point winning margin, 97-54. That 20-2 run about 2 minutes into the second half really made the difference in this game, and it really was not much of a contest after that.
The story is, of course, that Indiana now stands 29-3 on the season. Wright State finishes their campaign at 20-10, and the Hoosiers go on to the second round of this NCAA Midwest Regional, and they'll be taking on the Xavier Musketeers coming up on Sunday afternoon. Actually, we'll start the broadcast on Sunday morning at 11:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the tip, of course, will be at 12:15. And the guy that they're going to interview on the postgame on CBS tonight, Alan Henderson, who already has the bag of ice around his knee, and Henderson will come out to talk with Al McGuire on CBS. Well, tonight's ball game has been brought to you in part by Indiana Gas. For efficiency, comfort, and a cleaner environment, natural gas is your best energy value season after season. By your local Napa Auto Parts store. Napa, because there are no unimportant parts. By your local Amoco Certicare Repair Centers. By the Hoosier Lottery, where you've got to play to win. By State Farm Insurance and the more than 500 State Farm agents throughout Indiana. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By the real estate professionals at the 121 Century 21 offices in Indiana. By True Value Hardware. Got a tough job? You can do it with True Value Hardware stores. And by Squadron Herbicide for a higher level of soybean weed control. Our special thanks to our studio producer, Gary Klein, to our statistician, Joe Smith. Now this is Don Fischer for Max Skirvin, inviting you to stay tuned next for the IU Postgame Show. We'll be rejoining you in just a couple of minutes. So long, everybody.
Professional interiors. What does that mean? Well, according to Funk and Wagnall, professional means skilled in a profession, art, or craft. Interior means pertaining to the inside. Now, what it doesn't mean is expensive. At Professional Interiors, you'll find the best prices on the best brands of carpet anywhere. So don't be surprised if you find that high-quality carpet that you saw elsewhere and thought you couldn't afford, priced so low that you'll wonder how the other guy sells any of it. Professional Interiors, 570 South Main Street in Monticello. The best carpet and better prices.
McGreevy's Pizza King, a place where your lunch hour is your time. Come in, sit down and relax. Choose from a large selection of super sandwiches, delicious salads, and sensational soups. Let them bring the food to you. McGreevy's Pizza King wants you to enjoy your lunch hour. For your next lunch break, enjoy McGreevy's Pizza King on the square in Delphi. McGreevy's Pizza King, more than just great pizza.
Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury, the affordability store, has the #1 best-selling car in America. Plus, they have the #1 best-selling truck in America. And Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury has great selection, a pleasant atmosphere, affordable quality service, and guaranteed no high pressure. Their goal at Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury is your total satisfaction. Nobody makes it more affordable than the Logansport Ford Lincoln Mercury store, located at the east end of the Logansport Mall.
Beaver Dam Inn in Monticello is the place for exquisite prime rib and scrumptious seafood. Visit Beavers now for their nightly dinner specials, exceptional service, and delicious homemade soups. While you're there, ask about their catering and private party services. Located just south of the Norway Dam, everyone's eager to eat at Beavers. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Call 583-8375. The Beaver Dam Inn.
Goody Sports Center is always bleeding red for the Indiana Hoosiers, and they'll bleed red for you too. Goody Sports Center, located in downtown Monticello, is your total sporting goods headquarters. even if your favorite colors aren't red and white. If it has anything to do with sports, Goodies has it. Whether it's shoes, sweats, jackets, or any kind of sports equipment, you can get it at Goodies Sports Center. Goodies, located in the Shoppers Concourse, 103 South Main in downtown Monticello. Call 583-3009.
Don't miss the early bird sale going on store-wide at Musall's Lawn and Garden Center. The spring supplies are in at Musall's, 406 Beach Drive in Monticello. Open daily from 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m.
With the IU postgame show, a review of tonight's ball game as Indiana wins 97-54 over the Wright State Raiders as the Hoosiers go to the second round of the NCAA Tournament. As always, our guest on the postgame show is Norm Ellenberger. Well, Norm, what a terrific win tonight. You got off to a pretty decent start in this ball game. You ran out to a 45-29 halftime lead, and then in the second half, you just rolled after kind of a rocky first 2 minutes of the second half. But what really a solid performance for the ball club.
Well, that's for sure. And then here we are. I just glanced at my watch. Our normal post-game midnight radio show. Wow. No, that we didn't get off too good a start early, but that zone was a little bit different. It took us a while to figure out how to get the ball in the middle, and then the second half, we had that we let them. Well, we fouled right away, and then somebody slipped in behind and got a bucket. But other than that, it was pretty much our way after we got uncorked there. There's a fine ball player. Edwards is and our defensive plan. Coach Dakis did a tremendous job. And of course, we had 4 days, and our defense was really, really good. It just it bothered them. And I know he got I don't know how many 20 points, but he shot 18 points, and he shot 26 times or something like that. Well, you're not helping your ball club there, and he forced a lot of shots. And that was a tremendous job that Dan Dakis did in breaking that, helping Coach develop that defense, and it got us where we want to be.
Norm, I think we pointed out in our broadcast that Indiana was not shooting it very well at the very outset of this ball game, with the exception of Calvert Chaney. But the defense is what really keyed this ball club.
Well, that was and like I say, we had 3 or 4 days to prepare, and we spent a lot of time. And one thing Coach Knight does is he's pretty good all season long, but boy does he blossom come tournament time. And every day we got a little bit tougher, and then yesterday we kind of put it all together, and today we put it out on the court.
I thought really one of the guys that gave you a spark in the first half, even though it wasn't necessarily with his scoring, was Damon Bailey.
Yeah, Damon really was digging and grabbing and scratching. And of course, this is one of the things that we have really emphasized in the last 3 weeks, is like Pat Graham and Damon and some of those smaller kids getting in and doing something in and around the basket, because we are so little. And then Matt got uncorked and scored a little bit. And the only guy that really, and I talked to him there as we were sitting on the bench as the game was winding down, was Greg Graham. He said, "Boy," he said, "I felt like a little washerwoman out there tonight. My shot, and it didn't look that bad. The ball was up on top of the rim, but he's I told you, you just been spoiled. You're due to have a day where the basket wasn't as big as a wash tub, and hopefully he'll come back strong the next time."
All right, we'll be back with more on our post-game show with Norm Ellenberger in a moment, but first, let's pause for the 60-second timeout.
Future teacher and Indiana University student Tricia Davis.
Teaching is not babysitting. It's a kid's life for a year. And to a child, a year is a lot of growing. I can't wait until I get in the field and have my own class.
Thanks to donors who give scholarships to Indiana University through the IU Foundation, our communities will have wonderful teachers like Tricia.
It gave me the opportunity to have a part-time job instead of a full-time job and go to IU.
Good luck, Tricia, from the Indiana University Foundation.
This NCAA IU basketball game is presented by University Broadcasting with 2 sports networks and 7 radio stations. University Broadcasting is rapidly becoming a leader in the broadcast industry. Our networks use state-of-the-art transmission and satellite distribution equipment for unmatched audio quality. This reflects our commitment to programming and marketing excellence, bringing Hoosiers the finest in sports entertainment. University Broadcasting, establishing a new tradition for radio excellence in Indiana.
Once again on our post-game show, Norm Mellenberger, our guest, with Indiana winning tonight over Wright State 97-54. Norm, as we've talked already, it was awfully important to get off to a good start defensively. Wright State, however, is a good basketball team, and they played very tough and did give you some different looks for their defensive zone that they started out the ball game with.
Right. The zone was spread out all over the court, and they got that big 7-footer in the middle, and it really bothered us getting the ball in. The hole was there, but we couldn't get the timing was really off. We couldn't get it in, and then we were scared of Woods a little bit too offensively. You know, we thought we could handle their good 3-point shooter Holderman. And yeah, we did. He was 0 for 4, I see. He's really a good 3-pointer if you give him time. We thought we could do that. We were afraid that by some of the things that Woods had said in the paper that he would penetrate and give us some problems. And of course, the things he said in the paper made it up to the locker room wall too, so that helped a little bit.
Brian Evans came back tonight and had maybe his best performance in several ball games.
I've been on Brian now for 10 days to improve, and we got him out here yesterday, and he in that little practice that we had, he really showed some really neat signs, and we need him. You know, he got up and got the board and flowed. He was fluent in our offense, something that he had, and then he made some shots. So that was good. It was really good.
Norm, I understand today when you had your shoot around, you did it over one of the university buildings, but the coach decided not to take any shots over there. Talk a little bit about that. This big
cavern that we're playing in here is there's no background to it. It's just a little orange ring out in the middle of a 5-acre field, so coach said, after we had our breakfast this morning, we're going to go over and dress out and go through our plans and so forth. We usually shoot some free throws, shoot a little bit. And he said, now, if you want to pass the ball and to get loosened up and everything, fine, but don't anybody take any shots. He says, he said, we don't need to shoot into that background and those baskets over there right up against the wall. And, that's pretty good. That's why he's the head coach.
You really controlled the boards tonight, too.
Did well once again, after we got everybody going and everybody flowing, got our offense going, it gave us chances to get to the boards.
Calvert Chaney, again, as he has done so many times, again, led things. At one point, I think he played, Don,
12 minutes and had 18 points.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that, but, that's... So what else is new? Like I said before, when you got a star, that star is supposed to do that every night.
That is right. When Chaney and Graham both shoot, you're almost disappointed when they miss because you expect them to hit every time.
Exactly. They're tremendous young men.
Well, Norm, as we wrap up tonight, you face now a team in the second round that has had a great season themselves, 24-5 on the year. The Xavier Musketeers out of the MCC. We saw them in their tournament last week when they didn't play very well in the championship game against Evansville, but this is a ball club that's dangerous, to say the least.
We're playing an excellent basketball team tomorrow, and I saw that game that they had against Evansville also, but they played really tired that night for some reason. But they beat a good basketball team, a team that went 18-0 in their league this year in New Orleans this afternoon or tonight, and that is a good ball club, and they have a good NCAA thing going for them. They play well in the tournaments, and so Coach Knight started on them. Then with 5 minutes to go in the game, he sent Coach Felling to the locker room, and when we got there, the whole board was filled up with Xavier stuff. So the minute that we stepped into that locker room, we're talking about game 2, and now they're we start when there's 64 teams left. Now there's only 32 left, and you're in a heck of a lot better. Well, remember last year, our second game last year was LSU. So here we go.
Norm, one final thought. You don't get much rest. The television networks obviously have worked it so that you play the last game on Friday night and now the first game on Sunday. So you're going to get less rest than anybody else in this tournament.
Well, that's one of the things that's been mentioned about the luck of getting the number 1 seed and being in our ranking. They wanted to have us late so keep everybody around, and then on Sunday start us early so everybody comes home after church instead of going out for brunch. So we don't get much time, but that's all right. Let's just go play.
All right, Norm. Again, congratulations. Enjoy it for a second or two, and on to the Sunday ball game.
Yeah, the enjoyment is over as of now. Now it's back to work. We'll be up. We've got about a dozen films on Xavier, and there'll be some midnight oil burnt tonight.
All right, Norm Mellenberger, our guest on the postgame show. Again, the final 97-54 IU over Wright State. We'll be back with some final thoughts after the 60-second timeout.
A law firm that believes integrity comes first. O'Brien and Morrissey wants you to know about their law practice located at 1015 Bank One Building in Lafayette. You can talk to Thomas O'Brien or Michael Morrissey with your first consultation free. They can assist you in divorce, personal injury, real estate, wills, estates, drunk driving, and criminal cases. Meeting the legal needs of the people in our area. O'Brien and Morrissey. Call 317-742-9027.
Chevy's, Logansport's most popular nightclub, invites you to rock and roll to the greatest hits of the 50s and 60s every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Yes, Chevy's friendly atmosphere, unbelievable lighting, and outstanding sound makes for a good time for everyone. Now at Chevy's on Sunday night, it's country western night. So pull on the boots, get out the hat, and plan to dance the two-step at Chevy's. Whether you're looking for a little bit of country or a little bit of rock and roll, Chevy's has it. Located inside Myers Sport Bowl East, 1/2 mile east of the Logansport Mall.
Time to build teams 40% overall.
Well, back once again at the Hoosier Dome, where Indiana tonight winds up first-round play in the Midwest Regional with a 97-54 blowout of Wright State. Top scorer tonight for Wright State, Bill Edwards with 18. Mark Woods, the only other double-figure scorer for the Raiders with 14. The Hoosiers had 4 in double figures tonight, led by Calvert Cheney with 29, 17 for Matt Nover, 12 for Pat Graham, and 10 for Brian Evans.
Well, Indiana shoots 56.9% tonight, and they hold Wright State to 31.9%. That's the 10th time this year they've held somebody under 40%. It's the 29th time they've held somebody under 50%. They had 51 rebounds tonight. That's a season high, one more than they had against Colorado. We got all kinds of those here. Career high for Brian Evans, 9 rebounds tonight. And Joe points out that on the road to New Orleans in 1987, in this very place, they beat Fairfield in the first game 34 points, and Wright State tonight was 43 points.
So Indiana now is 29-3 on the season. The Raiders stand 20-10 as they close out the campaign. And Indiana is on to Xavier on Sunday. The Musketeers, the opponent, starting at 11:50 a.m. with the Bob Knight pregame show, followed by the tip-off schedule for 12:15. That's Eastern Standard Time. So all of our affiliate stations, join us at 11:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday for IU and Xavier. Until then, for Max Skirvin and Joe Smith, this is Don Fischer. So long, everybody.
Goody Sports Center is always bleeding red for the Indiana Hoosiers, and they'll bleed red for you, too. Goody Sports Center, located in downtown Monticello, is your total sporting goods.